welcome to our show tonight here at Skateboard Nation. Anyway, as you can see, I've got Adam Taylor here. But before I start and get into the questions, I want to thank you all for coming on, for watching. If you're on YouTube, so please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like the show. And we definitely appreciate it. Anyway, Adam. You've been welcome, first of all. And thank you for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it. So anyway, where do we start with this? You have, at the beginning, but I'm just saying, like, right off the bat, you've been in the industry for a long time. I just want to say, like, I met you probably about 2 years ago. I walked into your office, and it was about 4:45, and nobody was in there except for you or in your office. And I walked through your whole building, basically, until I found you. Yeah. And then saw all the X Game medals and everything, and I was like, oh my God, man, that's pretty impressive. So anyway, I know you've done quite a bit. Amazing skateboarder. So let's get right into it now. And where did this all begin? So when you started skateboarding, you were?
When I started skating, I was 9.
9 years old.
9.
Okay.
Which is nowadays late standards. Like,
yeah, right.
Back then, you were 9. You're like, whoa, this child is at the park. That's crazy. Now you're 9. It's like, dude, where's your sponsors?
Yeah.
Like, how many contests have you won yet?
Well, the only person that was that young back when I was skateboarding was Eric Dressen.
Yeah?
Yeah. Eric, I remember him cruising around Marina, and he was like 11 years old. And I was just like, okay, there's a young one who's ripping, you know? But anyway, okay, so we started at 9.
Yeah.
And we were at, you're from Florida.
Yeah, Cocoa Beach. That's where I grew up. I lived there up until I was in my mid-teens. Before I moved out of California to live the dream of being a pro skater. But yeah, starting in Cocoa Beach. There wasn't a park in Cocoa Beach yet. So I'd go over to Merritt Island, which is like the town over, and skate Paradise Funplex. At the time, it had a vert ramp, a mini ramp, a street course. It's a big park, but they had a good vert ramp, and there wasn't very many vert ramps in Florida at that time, or ever probably was. But that's where I learned like all my basics at the Merritt Island Funplex skate park.
All right, was there any pros there?
Not really. There was some local guys. Lonnie Ryder was a local guy, semi-pro, I guess, and Scooter Newell, who also runs the beach skate park, I think they're now, showed me what vert was, because it was still like this was like 99, so like vert skating was still like lame. So the vert ramp, the skate parks had the vert ramp, and it would just sit there.
Right. No, I know. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you go to a lot of parks, and the whole street park, everything is full. 2 people are on the vert ramp. Looking at each other like, okay, your turn to go.
Yeah. So that park opened in like 99, 2000 or something, one of those years. And it was literally like the year I started skating or got to skateboard.
Okay.
And, from Ocean Avenue. I got a Plan B board.
Wait a minute. Ocean Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were in Satellite Beach.
Okay. Ocean Avenue. Bruce Walker.
Yeah, Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever see him at the park back in the day?
Not those parks. It wasn't really like that kind of skate park. It was
Yeah.
So, no, he was.
It wasn't like Cone or something.
And also, I was 10 years old. I would have known who that was, anyways. Now it's like legend, but like back then, it was just a kid who messed around. But yeah, I got my board, and it was a Plan B board, and I still have it. It's up in my office.
Is that right?
Yeah, I dug it out, found it. It's all chipped up, but it still exists.
What is it? Was it a pro board at the time?
No, it was a popsicle.
Logo? Okay.
It was popsicle shape.
Right.
But it was it was a Plan B board. I could barely tell now. Like I can barely tell what it was. It was like it got, it was my first board, and obviously it's been sitting around for a while, but I have it up in my office.
Awesome. No, yeah, I mean, you got quite a bit of skate boards and everything else in your
Yeah.
You got a lot. You got a lot more than what I have on my walls.
Oh man, but I don't have the tricks named after me. So.
No. Yeah. Well, that was done by a magazine, but thanks for pointing that out. Okay. Yeah.
You're gonna check them out. Oh, it's a big deal.
Okay. Were you okay? So you started skateboarding. You started digging it, liking it. Were you doing any other kind of sports back then? Did you do anything to surf?
Surf. That's what got me into the skate. It's Cocoa Beach.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
All right.
Cider Town.
Did you who took you surfing though?
My dad.
Okay. So
My dad's a surfer. My mom was a surfer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't unusual. So it was like that was just part of our lifestyle. And,
right.
You know, it's Florida. Waves suck 90% of the time. So. But skating in that area wasn't really much of a popular thing yet. So it was kind of.
And, okay, what year was this now? This
We're
is
still
2000?
talking like 99.
99, okay.
98, 99, 2000
Okay.
was the time where I picked up skateboard. One of those, it was definitely 99 or 98. Picked up a board, so it was like, it was at that time like I got the board for Easter. I even remember.
Really?
Got the old Plan B positive for Easter.
Okay.
I just thought it would be cool.
That's rad, man. That's good. Okay. All right, so we're skating along. I'm just trying to build this thing up so we know, like, from the time you started and stuff and had a Plan B board, obstacle stick. So, I mean, like, were you skating mostly street back then or, like, the ramps and stuff? Or did you jump right into vert? Like, usually there's a progression there.
Yeah,
so,
the park had, that skate park had a full-on street course, like a big street course, like with the box jump and big quarters and stuff. It wasn't like, it had a big street course with big stuff, big rails and jump box and big quarters, but it also had like a 6-foot mini with a 7-foot extension next to the vert ramp.
Okay.
So like you said, you can't just jump on the vert. So I would skate that thing, the mini ramp a lot. And then I finally dropped in on vert probably when I was 10. I stood on the deck for...
Do you remember how big the ramp was? It was like
it was
10,
full
11,
ramp,
12?
13.
13?
13. And they had a full-size vert ramp. It was the biggest vert ramp at that time in that area because it was like Kona had a vert ramp, but it was small. Spot had a vert ramp, but it was 12. But like Paradise Complex had a 13-foot.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's legit size right there. Yeah, that's amazing. Do you remember what time when that park closed?
That park closed not that long ago, and it probably should have closed a lot before that. I think it officially closed only like a few years ago, but it was like unskateable, I think.
Okay. So your first board you say was a Plan B board?
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of trucks and wheels?
Blue.
Just had the B logo on it?
Yeah, it had just the B logo at an angle.
Okay.
And it was blue. I don't remember what kind of trucks and wheels it had. I think I probably rode those things rode it till it died. They all died. I don't remember at all what the wheels and trucks been. But so like I started skating started on the mini skating tranny. I was also the kid. I was also a little kid.
Yeah, little.
I'm not a big guy, but I was a pretty small 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and pads didn't fit me because there wasn't kids that skated for there to be real pads.
Right.
Real pads to where there was no reason to make real pads for small kids. So that's when I met, I don't even know where, probably a contest, definitely a contest. I did a million contests when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I met Vincent from 187, and he was just getting his company started and making, everything was handmade for a while.
Yeah.
And he made me a pair of kids-sized pads that were pro level pads, but in kids size.
Amazing.
And I loved yellow, and all my pads were yellow, and I wore the yellow Andy Mac helmet and everything. And since I had custom pads, I was the kid with the custom pads.
Yeah.
So I had the yellow elbows, the yellow knees, the yellow Andy Mac prototype helmets. And I looked like, I wish someone would have told me better, but I was the brightest kid. Like the brightest kid on the ramp, and I was also the kid wearing pads.
Yeah.
I always got clowned because there was only street and mini ramp contests. There wasn't vert contests, obviously, especially for kids.
Right.
And I would always skate the street contests and the mini ramp contest fully padded.
Uh-huh.
Like I was a kid, so I didn't care, but like I knew like I was definitely getting clowned and like
really
like the little kid with the pads doing in the ramp while everyone's skating.
No, I
had this on the mini ramp, and I just. Looking back, now in hindsight, I'm saying, I'm like, dude, I was definitely getting clowned by the little kid in the pad. Well, then I was also skating well. So it was like,
They
Little
can't
kid
say
with the
too
bright
much.
yellow pads that's wearing full padded while everyone's non-padded, but then he's also
Ripping.
I was also beating you in the contest.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, who cares? It's like, skating, because I grew up skating at that park, but then like it was Florida, so I grew up skating Kona
Yeah.
and Spot, skate park in Tampa.
Right.
They had vert ramps. There were mini ramps. There was a reason for me to go to those parks. There's definitely other parks, like Ocala had a park, I think, the indoor park, and there's Satellite Beach Park, but they didn't have a ramp. So like I kind of bounced from Kona. St. Augustine Park, where Vinton managed in the early 2000s, was at St. Augustine Treaty Park, and then I skated Spot probably the most, but that was a 2-hour drive. And then Vans Orlando.
Okay. Your mom and dad would drive you down the 2 hours.
My dad would take me
anywhere.
My parents would take me anywhere. If there was a contest, I was contests every week, and I love skating contests.
Yeah.
And it was an excuse to go to a park, so my dad like every weekend would drive me. And then I also did ESA and NSSA for surfing.
Right.
I was a very active kid, very hyperactive. I'm very much more chill than I used to.
All right. Well, all right. Well, who are the guys that you looked up to when you were young like that?
The guys I looked up, it was definitely still like...
I mean, you had a lot of pros in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, was the whole thing.
Yeah, there's just like... In Florida, there was, a lot of guys I looked up to. It was still 2000, 99, so vert was still... Vert was not, it was not dead, but it was still like, it was vert. It was vert. It was still
not a lot of guys
on the download. Not a lot of guys. People weren't really making careers. Like Tony's just starting to get, things are just starting to jump. Tony's just starting to put it on the map. And,
when you say Tony,
Hawk.
We're talking about TH. Okay.
Hawk, but I was saying Antonio. Leading up to where he did the 9 at X Games is like really where things kind of took a little shift. But so up until then, Hawk was still trying to keep it alive. So there still wasn't that many vert skaters, but the guys I liked to watch, that was 4-in-1 days. Yeah. So always there was a vert snippet. There's the skate videos always had the token vert skater on there. You got their part. The 4-1-1 they would cover the contest. And there's actually more vert contests probably then than there is now. Yeah. Even though it was even more still death. But like even when I'd watch all the 4-1-1s, people say the vert part was the part where people fast forward during the 90s. It was the opposite for me. I'd fast forward all that street nonsense, get to the vert section, and watch. I always liked watching Barnberg Quist and Matthias Ringstrom. I really liked watching him for his unique tech skills.
Yeah, man. He's a good kid. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I still talk to Matthias.
I'm still waiting for you to say one guy right now. A Florida guy. Vert guy.
Which dude?
Frazier, man.
Frazier. I was getting there, but Frazier was also, he was from Florida and from all that, but those guys were also traveling a lot, so I didn't actually have physical skate sessions with a lot of those guys at the time because they were out doing. So I never actually skated with those guys. Actually, I didn't really skate with anybody very often. Like pro level.
Okay.
Because everyone was here. Yeah. If you were actual. Besides Frazier, always stayed there.
Yeah, Frazier was always back there.
But everyone was here. So it was still vert sessions. But definitely the guys who introduced me to vert. Shout out to Scooter Newell, who still skates in Cocoa Beach.
Rad.
If it wasn't, he's the one that I was kind of like, oh, you want to skate vert? It's cool. Oh, it's cool. I want to fly. That's really what it came down to is I wanted to fly.
Okay.
I want to hop around on the ground and to fly, dude. And then Hawk came with the gigantic skate park tour. Yeah. And he was doing that. It came to the park. Mm-hmm. And I have the picture of me and Hawk still. Me standing next to him. That's when I saw that was the first time I saw real vert skating. I don't remember who was there. I think it was, Hawk was there, and I think, he had his crew. So it was probably something like Lincoln and Frazier. No, it was Florida. I'm sure Frazier was there. And Anthony Furlong.
Probably Staub was there.
Sergians, those guys. That's when I saw real vert skating. Yeah, Sergian. And I was like, that's it. Yeah. So that's I don't want to skate anything else.
You got two guys there who could really fly. Yeah.
So I saw that.
Sergi and Lincoln, man, like those guys, they like to fly.
Yeah, and then
smoothest flyers.
And then the city, as far as they get a little bit of vert skating, they got rained out. I'll never forget. This had to be like 99 gigantic, 2000 gigantic. It was probably like 2000. 2001 gigantic skate park tour, and that's when I saw some real vert skating, and then I would go Tampa Pro, so the only really real vert contest in Florida during that early time of the 2000s.
Schaefer, I think, was putting that on at that time.
Yeah, it was still, the ramp was still inside.
Yeah.
It was still the indoor ramp, masonite and steel at the transition.
Those guys,
I saw some real vert skating.
Those guys did so much for skateboarding in Florida that it's not even funny, man.
Yeah, and even rumor.
Okay.
Because I hear Schaefer.
Man, I love this. This is like the news guy right here. He's more connected than anybody.
Schaefer wants to put the vert ramp back in.
Oh man, that would be insane, right?
Insane.
That would be insane.
So, that'd be awesome. But yeah, that's kind of the early days of that, like, me introduced into vert.
Okay.
And then from there, it was like, I met Vincent, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he managed the skate park in St. Augustine. I would go skate there and stay with him. It's a good way for my parents to get rid of me for a bit. Like I said, I was a super hyperactive kid that wanted to be at the skate park all day.
All of us were, man. We all were.
So it was skating that, and then I was 11. You know, at the time there wasn't young kids skating vert, so having someone under the age of 20 years old on the vert ramp was like
unheard of.
So I did get more attention because of that.
Yeah.
Because like
you got little kid points.
Little kid points. Even if you're at the skate park in the empty vert ramp, on the one little the kid skating the vert ramp, people, you know, they're everyone wants to watch vert. Yeah. So I kind of got some attention early into my skating because of that. So like by the time I was 12 or 13, I was on Termite, I was on Osiris, I was on Rusty.
Wow.
I was
big sponsors.
I was on ProTech.
You were covered. Wait a minute, you were on ProTech?
Yeah,
for helmets. For helmets or for pads?
For
everything.
Helmets, because
right.
So I'm not trying to shut.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then so I had a whole slew of things, and Surf Expo would come up, and I'd be the one kid that would be allowed to skate the Surf Expo. Tony did demos and Universal Studios, and I was the one kid that was allowed to skate it because I was the one young Florida kid that would skate vert at the time, and I was totally a loner because of that.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like going to the park, and I would skate the vert ramp by myself.
Yeah. No, I get that. I got a weird question. It just popped in my head. Do you know the Dern brothers?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. They're a little younger than me, but when I had the skateboard company, Timeline Skateboards, we were sponsored.
Well, I met two of the three.
Yeah.
Right. And they were at Surf Expo last year. That's where I met them. And yeah, those guys got like 1, 2, 3 they had like a mini ramp contest there. So anyway, Little Fletcher was also like right there with those guys too, holding his own against everybody.
Yes.
So anyway, all right. Well, I got a question. Where'd you get your nickname? Tell me your nickname. What is it?
Atom Bomb.
Okay, Atom Bomb.
That's
who gave me?
People refer it to me.
Yeah. Who called you that? Who gave me that name? Who sat there and did that and said it?
I don't even know.
Really?
I can't even pin it down.
Okay.
It's not really a very creative nickname, like something silly. So I don't think it didn't really come from something. I think it was kind of coined.
Really?
Someone said it, and I was like, "That's a good name. I'll coin it."
when you're a kid, it's kind of rad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, there's no good story behind that one.
All right. I was just curious because I saw it and I was like, Atom Bomb. Well, you know, I got nicked with the Raver, and some guy was totally high out of his brain and couldn't say Dave. He kept saying Rave, and then it went from there. So that's why I was just wondering, like, okay, because nicknames are always kind of fun to find out, especially if like, you know, Tony would have said like, oh, Atom Bomb, you know, like then you got a real story behind it. But like yours, man, you know, you don't know who did it, then it just came up. Anyway, okay, so you're doing a lot of contests in Florida, a lot of amateur contests. We're floating around everywhere. Did you? Okay, so you got your sponsorships through the contest. Is that how you were found, or did you send a sponsor me tape to somebody and say, "Hey, here I am"?
Surf Expo.
Yeah.
When Surf Expo would come around, I would be ready to go to the booths and be like, hey.
Okay. Do you sponsor me?
I wasn't like the kid that was like, hey, sponsor me. I was like, here's a skate photo. I'd really love your. And they would be like, okay. And then I would get, that was where you get the contact.
Yeah.
And then that's when shortly after you follow up and.
You want me to tell you? Tell you a funny
Surf Expo, man.
You want me to tell you the funny story about Surf Expo? Do you know who I found at Surf Expo?
A lot of people at Surf Expo, so I gotta hear this.
Steve-O.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Steve Glover.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's funny.
From Jackass. He came into me and he was all, "Here, check out my sponsor me tape." I was working at XYZ at the time. I was down there for XYZ.
Oh,
and he handed me the tape and I plugged it in and watched it, and then I told the Tommy Cadell, like, "Hey, gotta watch this guy. This guy's insane." And Tommy was like, "I want nothing a part of it." I go, "No, you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it."
Yeah.
So anyway, and then after that, those guys became like the best friends ever.
That's
and I know those guys are still super tight. So anyway, all right. So skate contests, skate parks, pretty much toured all of Florida. Then?
Yeah,
everywhere.
every park. There's a lot of parks there.
Did you go up north of there, like Georgia, Carolinas, up like skating wise? I'm just trying to picture like, and trying to like push for parents too to continue to help kids do that, because I know like when I was on the East Coast, I used to like take the Florida guys all the contests, even as far as Houston for the amateur nationals and stuff. And I just think it's rad that parents do that, man. So kudos to your folks for spending that time with you. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah. And then finally, after like I would skate by myself and that a lot. I met some people that they were opening a skate park in Noonan, Georgia.
Okay.
And they had a young kid, we were the same age, that liked skating vert. So they opened their own indoor skate park called Factory Skate Park in Newton, Georgia. The best skate park.
Okay.
At the time, it was all there was only private parks, and there was an indoor park in Newton, Georgia, and they built a vert ramp for him to skate. And that's when we're the same age, and that's when I would go up to Georgia and spend weeks us just hanging out and skating. And I learned a lot of my tricks when I was about 14 to 15 to 16, is I would spend a lot of time there, and that park was sick, and that's where I learned a lot of my basics.
Yeah,
like
my next level stuff.
My next level stuff out of like front splitters and back, where I'm like, I gotta do flow tricks, I gotta do fives. And that park factory in Newton, Georgia, really
was this place for it.
It was a spot, and like there's other kids that skate. Not too many really excelled, but like I still am in contact with those people that don't really skate as much anymore. But
I wonder if did they have like a big like national amateur vert and street contest at that place?
Yeah, they have them all the time.
Because I remember going back to Florida or Georgia for a contest back then.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I was with H Street at that time, or I don't remember who I was with. But there was a place back there. It was a big brown building, I remember. And it had a really great street course, great vert ramp, everything. And they had the finals back there. But I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember
that was like early 2000s stuff. But and then like when I was like, that was like 14, 15, 16, my Termite came out with Pest Control when I was 13.
Okay.
I have a VHS still left.
Yeah. Wow. Pest Control. Who was your team manager?
That one.
Yeah, now you got that one. Doesn't matter. Pest Control.
Pest Control. Yeah.
So that was your first part in the video.
First part in a video. It was a kids video. Yeah. Termite only sponsored kids under the age of like 14. I think I was like the oldest kid on the team. But yeah, I had a really good team, and some of these skaters still like. My brother was on the team. My brother's also a really good vert skater too. He was the one, so my brother, we grew up skating. He's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
He doesn't really skate anymore, but he was always right behind me. But 6 years is a pretty big gap. Yeah. And let's just put it this way: he was the one with the talent. I was just the one that worked really hard.
Yeah.
My brother was the one that was on my heels, but he was the one with the mad style, and that like I was definitely jealous of.
Wow.
That he got all the talent, but I worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
I was the kid. He skated a lot too. It's just like if he skated as hard as I did when I got older, and he kind of like got over it, he would have blew me. He would have got the attention.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll go into that too once we get a little bit farther, because it's pretty cool what he could do. But so that's when I was like 14 or 15. I was skating at that factory park. I was skating with I was getting good, and I was taking trips out to California, and that's where I was like skating with young kids that were actually good.
Okay.
Like
young kids that were actually good. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, well, is this? Wait a minute. How old were you here?
Oh, this is one of my trips out of California. As you can see, I have the yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow gear. And
bright yellow.
Is like the first loop.
Yeah.
That Bob built. Is that Bob Burns?
Oh, that's right.
House.
That is Bob's.
That is Bob's.
Okay. That's before it got torn down, or ripped down, or fell down.
Yeah. I mean, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had to be 14 there.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 13.
Because I was over at Bob's a couple months back.
Yeah.
And
this was like the first one I think he built there, and I'm standing in the middle. Can't see my face probably very well, but I would definitely have the. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh!
I'm at Burger Chris house. Oh my god!
What am I doing here?
Doing?
No, that's what's awesome about it. You know, I mean, it's like that feeling. It's kind of like making a trip that you want to make so bad, and then when you do, you're just like so stoked.
Yeah.
What kind of trick was that? What trick do you remember that you wanted to learn that took you for either forever to learn, or just had the satisfaction of saying like, "Hey, man, that was sick. I'm so stoked."
I've done a lot of tricks.
Does that count for vert, or does that count for the mega ramp?
It's two different disciplines.
Yeah, no,
like
I get it. I get it.
The 3-foot mini and
Yeah.
13-foot vert. So there's definitely a difference. For vert, I think a trick that immediately popped in my head was a 720.
Yeah. Okay.
Which there is a video. I do have a video of it. Now that I think about it, was at the YMCA.
Okay.
Probably in like 06.
Okay.
07. I did a lot in a very short period of time of 11 years old dropping in for first time. By the time I'm 15 years old, I'm moving out to California and thinking about going. So short. I did a lot in those years.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so moving out to California, I was going to get to that. Okay, like most kids that are 18 or 19, they get 4 guys and jump in a car and drive out here, no idea what they're going to do, and they usually like pull into a sponsor's driveway or something and say, "Can I sleep here?" You had it a little different. Your whole family moved out.
Yeah.
Was that for skateboarding, or did your dad, was he in the military or something and got transferred, or?
No, my dad was a firefighter.
Oh, he was a firefighter. Okay.
Firefighter in Orlando.
Okay.
And he got us a place here. Yeah, so we moved the whole family out for skating. Looking back, it's a very risky move, but
yeah, man,
very motivated. And also, my brother and my sister are really good skaters too.
Okay.
I also have a younger sister.
Okay.
Leah Taylor. She's also a really good girl skater.
Yeah. I saw some pictures of her actually. Yeah. While I was digging through your stuff.
Digging through my stuff. Yeah, it's actually really good. She still skates really well. So we all moved out here because it was like 3 of us were all pretty good. It wasn't just me trying to, live the dream. But since it was me, my brother, and my sister, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Your
dad's happy because he's got surf every day.
Yeah. So my dad mostly still worked in Orlando, but would take long times off and come stay with us. But my mom really took care of us out here.
Okay.
And we got a small apartment next to the YMCA skate park in Encinitas. If you go to the YMCA, the apartments.
Yeah. No, I know exactly where they are.
Blue ones.
Yeah.
So I could skate to the skate park every day.
Absolutely, right
super
down.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Skate at the YMCA, and that's when the YMCA had the big X Games ramp.
Yeah, that's it.
So that was why I went there. Was Encinitas, the YMCA, the X Games ramp with the big clamshell and the giant roll in that one. Long.
Yeah.
They don't make for ramps like that anymore.
That's right.
So I moved here, and that was like the spot, and that went from me being the kid that might be being a little kid that was like kind of into vert that might be kind of good to where I'm like, okay, I think I can do something with this for my life and for my life. Like,
well, that vert crew at that time in Encinitas was some of the best.
That vert crew was heavy because it was there wasn't as many private ramps, and it was a public park. YMCA, so technically public park. So anybody could show up.
Yeah.
Everybody, and it was a really good ramp. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was a really good ramp. It was a huge ramp.
Yeah.
And that was the spot. And there were some heavy sessions, and I was and then there was the Young Rippers that I skated with. Some of them still skate now, like Zach Miller.
Yeah.
We skated every day together. Rob Lorfus.
Okay.
Alan Young. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Hawkins.
Yeah.
That was the girl that was like really
the top.
Like
one that was ripping the hardest at that time. Yeah.
And it was kind of the young crew. My brother and my sister.
Yeah, I was gonna say your sister, was she riding that, or was she doing more street or mini ramp, or
we were all park
okay
bowl skater. My sister was little because my brother's 5 years younger than me. My sister's 6 years.
Okay.
So they were quite a bit younger. So my sister was still kind of just like a little rat.
Is everybody still here in San Diego?
No.
Okay.
My mom is in Florida.
Okay.
My dad is in Venice. My brother's in Hollywood, and my sister's in Ohio.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of change over a few years.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. But
you guys are all still close, and everybody's talking all the time. And
yeah, sometimes we'd like to talk more, but we all have busy lives, so it's like, especially when you have that many brothers and sisters, it's a little bit a lot going on. So that was kind of like where we ended up there, and kind of went from this kind of idea of I could be a pro skater to where I'm going to the park and I'm learning every trick I can think of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also who I used to skate with. I can't forget Alex Carlson.
Okay.
Josh Stafford.
Yeah.
I'm just name dropping.
I forgot about Josh, man.
Yeah.
I love that
Josh
kid.
is doing great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to name drop, make sure I don't miss anybody. So
I was gonna say, because when I think Vincentitas, I think Tony Mag is gonna be there. Like virtually him or there, or Claremont. That's where all those guys went. Same with Josh.
Harrelson mostly skated Claremont.
Yeah.
Just grab a drink.
Of
Claremont
course.
because of he lived down there.
Yeah. But Tony, Hawk could have shown up back in those days before.
Sergio.
Like everybody, like all the top guys, would show up and skate there, because there was only 2 ramps at that time that were any good. Well, other than Bourse ramp and stuff, but that one came a little bit later too.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah,
but
it was later.
Private, so
it's private.
Public, the public option.
Yeah, but I just look at it from the standpoint of where the pros kind of would go, where you would sit there and walk in and go, "Holy shit! I got this guy on the ramp. I got Hawk on the ramp. I got Andy Mack on the ramp.
Yeah,
I got
there was
Mag.
There was a consistent
Chris
crew.
Miller. And you're going, what?
Yeah, so coming from a big kid from
Florida,
a lot of these kids grew up skating with them when they were my age, but they were doing it in California but I was the kid and also I was this weird kid coming from Florida to come hang out on the vert ramp with California type people. Now I'm a total California person.
California type people.
But when I was Florida guy, Florida person, Florida man, coming out to skate, with these guys, I was definitely alien. I mean, you gotta have money to live out here. I was sharing a room with my brother and my brother and my sister. We all shared a room. Yeah. And to where I was skating with people that you have to, it's a higher cost of living here, and I'm coming from Florida income. Yeah. A family. Yeah. Income. Yeah. So it was I was definitely some punk kid.
You know what though, man?
I definitely felt different. Yeah. For a while. Okay. And I definitely felt like I was on the other side of the ramp for a while. Not that they were mean to me. Yeah. It's just
yeah, I know, man. I know. Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe.
It's kind of alien.
I'm trying to, I felt like I was from another planet. Yeah. And they weren't mean to me.
Right. They just didn't pay attention to you.
Yeah, the kids weren't mean to me.
Yeah. You didn't feel they had respect for you yet.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I deserved it too. I needed to prove myself.
Right. Hey, you were up there.
I was up there every day, all day. Eventually, those guys are some of my best friends.
Yeah, we talk
every day.
Every day.
Every day. But at the time, I was kind of like, "Oh, hey guys, I hope I can skate with you today." Yeah. And they're just like, "Oh, this is our normal life, is to skate with Andy Mack and PLG every day. What are you talking about? And I'm just like, Andy Mack. Bob Burnquist might show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But then that also fueled me though to be
Push
like,
you. Yeah.
and then I'm actually getting to experience pro skaters practice learning new tricks too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just video parts where you see banger after banger after banger. You're watching these guys out here every day, like busting their ass and
giving blood.
And you're like, oh, they do this no different from me and between me and them. I'm trying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the same thing, and just watching it in person was showed me that there is an opportunity there.
Yeah.
I was just trying to bang out as many tricks as I could. I was a little kid, so it was hard for me to go higher. I definitely struggled for a long time. One of my biggest struggles when I was a kid was I had the tricks, but I couldn't do them high.
Yeah. Well, that's because you were little.
That was because I was little.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, younger guys who haven't built up their leg muscles and strength and everything else. I mean, it takes time to do that.
Compared to the other kids that my age, compared to Alex and Zach and Stafford and Josh Stafford and Rob Lorfus and Alan Young, I was still going low compared to them.
Mm-hmm.
But that made me, so I tried to replace it by just doing more tricks.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, like guys like Andy Mack and like all those guys. I mean, that can be really intimidating, especially when they all have, I mean, every one of them has all the tricks, and then they each have like 3 or 4 of their own tricks on top of it. And then you're sitting back going, oh my God, I got to learn that.
Yeah.
And it's always best. And then, you know what? It's a head game sometimes. There's no question about it. Like, some people, if you do some trick that one of them does, and they kind of like, hey, what's he doing my trick for? Like he stole that trick, Dude,
I can't stand that. That shit. That goes in, like, still, see that. You see that actually more in your pro years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like going to the park, and it was always a little intimidating because I was, those guys all had good sponsors and had the new board, and the new wheels, and
all the cool stuff, man,
and the new. The one thing I did always get was new pads. I was the kid with the new pads. I was the kid with the new pads that were looking sick. That was the one thing I did have. But they had the cool
was that the 187 or was that?
Okay. 187.
Okay.
Yeah, 187. I was. I had always had the freshest, nicest looking pads, but they had all the nice shoes.
Yeah.
All the fancy gadgets, sick backpack, and
Did you feel
that's funny, man? That's funny.
And then you came to California. Did you notice how they were doing their tricks? Did it affect you on how you learned tricks and how quicker you learned them by skating with this group?
I definitely felt like they definitely had an advantage. Showing up, I'm like from the beginning, from the start. They had the start, and I kind of like rolled in late, but that's how it is.
But I mean, you mentioned some pretty awesome skaters too at the same time. Josh, I mean, you were skating with Josh at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time. He was more.
And Alex, I mean, you guys. I mean, look at those guys now.
Yeah.
Those guys have moved the big guy, the other guys, kind of out of the scene.
Now we're the older guys.
Yeah. Now you're the older guys, where other kids are going to look up to you.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the natural progression. It's just like, when Tony Hawk was coming up, like I remember when Tony was, and Billy Ruff and all those guys, and I mean, but Christian, all those guys. But like, I remember always trying to help those guys. I was never, like trying to hold them back, where I saw other pros trying to hold other guys back, especially Tony. Man, Tony, I gotta say, man, back in the early days, Tony got picked on a lot.
Yeah.
Man, he did. And
look at him now.
Exactly. Look at him sit out. Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you were pretty stoked to come here, though.
Yeah.
To get to San Diego, and then all of a sudden it's a whole new thing.
It was like it was the skateboarders' version of going to Hollywood.
Going to Disneyland, huh?
Yeah, going to Hollywood. Also you're going to the capital of skating, where it's, it's not. You're not now. You're just a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay, so tell me, what was the first picture you got in the magazine?
I did.
What did you see? What did you feel? What did you have? What magazine? Was it Transworld, Thrasher?
No,
Where did you go?
Transworld. It was an advertisement. A termite.
Oh, Oh, a termite ad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Termite did an ad. I guess you can kind of see it there. Did a advertisement. I do have it framed up in my wall in my office. I should have brought it, but it was a invert
Okay.
at the Paradise Funplex
Okay.
on the 7-foot extension and on the mini ramp. It was an invert. And, I was 13.
13. Okay.
13. Fully
So-
padded, yellow
course.
helmet, yellow pad,
Yeah, we had it all.
wrist guard.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing this, the wrist guard attached to the elbow pack.
Exactly.
You had maybe an inch of skin.
Yeah, maybe an inch
Yeah.
of skin, But I do have a big framed picture of it that they gave me at the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, that was my first ad. That was 13 said to be like 2003.
So what kind of trucks were you riding at that time? Were you
I
riding for
was riding-
termite?
I rode for Grand King.
Of course. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
So I was, Grand King.
Yeah.
And that was my other sponsor. Sorry, I didn't mention that.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
But Grand King, I rode for Grand King for a while. I really liked those trucks.
Yeah.
I know they kind of have something maybe going on like small, like production wise or something, but I think I'd ride a pair of Grand Kings if it was the brand was
Back.
back and not just
Those
get a pair of
guys.
trucks.
Those guys sold a lot of trucks, man.
Yeah,
Grand
I
King
don't
wasn't
even
like so
remember.
little, man.
Yeah, I know.
Those guys were in every shop. I was repping at
The
that
trucks
time.
were sick. The trucks were all the graphics on the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would do I don't know how they put the graphics on it, but they had like American flags on there
Yeah.
and skulls and stuff.
They
And
did everything
they
on
did
those
everything
things,
at the
man.
time. It was like no one was really putting graphics on
Yeah,
the trucks.
that's right. They were probably the first one.
And they made
So-
small trucks.
Yeah. They made all sizes. Yeah.
So they
did.
made all sizes. So it would hard to get a truck size for a mini
Okay.
board. But
All right.
King did them, obviously.
Okay. So after you were riding for who did you skate for after termite?
After termite,
Did they kick you off when you were 14 or what? You turned 15 and you were like, hey, sorry, you can't skate for us anymore? Or
That's
what?
when it kind of fizzled. The same
did they?
time.
Okay.
Like I never got like oh sorry, you're old. You have to move on.
Okay.
Now that I think about it.
Okay.
What
I was
did
just
happen?
wondering. Yeah, I was just
I
wondering.
didn't think about. No, I started. I had started my own board company
Okay.
in Florida at the time. Timeline Skateboards.
Wait, what was the name of it?
Timeline Skateboards.
Timeline. Okay. Got
Me
it.
and my dad started that. It was just total like out of garage. Let's do something
Yeah.
fun. And then it was like we sold in so many. We were shop in Florida. We were in Eastern, Ocean Ave, sold the boards, and we had ads and mags, and we had a good team. We had a good. Of course, I'm me coming from a vert background. I would say it was more like a part board
Yeah.
company, transition
Yeah.
board company.
Uh-huh.
We didn't really have any street skaters on the team. We had some, but we had a good team. It was like we had at one point we had Phil Ajah, Pete Kelly,
Pete
Buster.
Kelly wrote it. Wow.
Buster, Paul Luke.
Alderman?
Buster rode for us.
Oh, wow.
Second nine.
Yeah.
Today
Okay.
his name is
Yeah.
Scott.
Okay.
Dude, legend. That dude took me under his wing.
Buster is
Buster's
amazing.
the
Man.
best.
Yeah, he is.
Good
No question.
guy. So at the time we had a big team. We had Paul Luke. I think we were flowing Jimmy at some point, and Jimmy Wilkins at some point. And there was me, my brother, and Chris O'Reilly.
You guys need to have a reunion.
I know, right?
Put that thing together.
But then once we moved to California, and it was like more focused on, trying to make ends meet,
Yeah.
and then also try to be a pro skater. So it just kind of fizzled. So I didn't have a board sponsor for a long time.
Yeah.
After that. But we did that up until probably till like 2009.
Okay.
And then
So for a few years.
from like 2000, probably 2, 3 to the
Yeah.
I did a shit ton of graphics and stuff. I did a lot of graphics. I did graphics when I was like 15 years old for a board company. That's pretty cool.
That's
I still got a
awesome.
bunch of those boards. But that was really fun. It was a good learning experience. That's also the reason why my dad wanted to do it. He said he wanted to learn how to run a business. Like
That's
American
awesome.
dream, too,
Yeah,
you know?
right. Of course.
So I learned how to basically manage a business and do inventory and how boards get made. Schmidt made our boards.
Okay. Well, there's a
towards the
perfect
end.
little guy right there.
So if he's really hands-on. So he showed me how to put the He sent me the thing, and I put the graphic on the board, and then email it back, and like all the little things you don't realize
That has to be done.
that
It's
has
a
to be
lot
done
of
to
work,
produce a
man.
board.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah. So like I learned all that stuff at a young age. So that's where that's kind of what I did for board for a while, and then I didn't really have a board sponsor for a long time.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, who actually said, Adam, I want to turn you pro?
So that's the other kind of like thing with vert skating and contest. Since vert skating is based off contests, for vert skaters, I feel like once you at that time, it was in the 80s where it was all about the board sponsor. I didn't even have a board sponsor after. I had one Timeline Adam Taylor board, but like that's technically turning yourself pro if it was the 80s.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
You know what
you
I
had
mean?
a pro board.
But like when you're like doing really well in pro contests, like does that mean you're not pro? That's why when you see, that's the other thing I think is kind of controversial about being pro because you have your name on a skateboard. I think it's kind of ridiculous. But when I started skating pro contests,
okay, all right,
there wasn't really like I'm gonna turn you pro because like I didn't have a board sponsor. I was sponsored by Tracker at that time.
Okay,
I think Osiris. It was like
got your shoes from Osiris, yeah.
T-Mag. I think I was still in Rusty for a bit. Rusty had a good skate team.
Yeah, Rusty had a super good team.
I good clothes too.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, I don't know. They sold.
They sold.
Yeah, they sold. Yeah. As soon as they get sold, any company, it's pretty much trouble
not
from
the
there.
one I work for.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of Hall of Fame skaters that worked at Rusty. That's why they had a really
Rusty
sick
was
team.
Good. They had a really good team.
So I know, like Bob Skolberg and Henry Hester.
Yeah, they didn't really have a vert
those
team,
guys,
but they had a good street team.
Yeah. Damn street.
It's fine, but it is what it is.
I'm just kidding.
So that's when I kind of like. That's when I guess I'd consider myself a pro skater. If it was to this day, I'd still not be a pro skateboarder. If it became based off a skateboard, even though I did have my name on a board, but it was my own board.
Yeah, that's okay. That counts.
It's like
that counts.
That counts. But the time it did happen, is there anything you want to touch on before I start getting into that pro?
Which part?
I'm about to start talking about pro contests.
Pro contest, man. We can talk about pro contests. I'm good with that. Okay, wait, Greg. Okay, I just got a question here. So put this. Okay, so back at it here. So traveling wise, we're turning pro. Where is this going now as far as like the pro goes? You turn pro, you're skating your contest. Where are we going from there?
Yeah, so like you said, what turned me pro, I didn't really consider turning pro by a board, so I just started skating pro contests. It's vert skating, it's all about contests.
Okay, well let me ask you real quick, let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Who paid your entry? Who's paying your entry fee?
My parents.
Really?
Yeah.
Your parents.
There's no entry fee. You mean like entry fees to contests?
Yeah.
I mean, they're paying for everything.
Your parents were?
But there's not like entry fees. So.
Really? Okay, I didn't know. I always had the entry fees, $100 for a skater.
There might have been. I think the contest I'm about to mention, I think there was.
Yeah.
I'm about to mention Tampa Am.
Okay.
So my like final time, I was like, it was Tampa Am, and then a month. This is how it usually goes.
Yeah.
Tampa Am,
right,
and then a month later is Tampa Pro.
Right.
So my plan for my last time to skate as an amateur skater was that Tampa Am 2007.
Okay.
I skated the Am I had a run I've been working on, like this is it, this is my banger. I'm gonna win this, and then I'm gonna go to the pro contest. Yeah. It's gonna be so rad. Been working so hard for this. The vert ramp was outside at that time. Yeah. The Ams were starting to get better. There was now there were skaters coming from all over the place because that was the big Am.
That's where everybody goes.
That's where everyone goes.
The world, man. Got to go to Tampa.
I was doing it years and years before. Yeah. But that was the one I was like, I'm going to do it. And I fell in the contest on every run and ended up in 7th place. And I was so
still respectable.
Yeah, but it was at that point where like I need to be
right 1 or 2
second, 1 or 2 or second. Yeah. And like it was like that was destined to do that. And then it didn't happen, and I was so bummed. And I was like, fuck it, I'm still going to skate the Tampa Pro a month later. Yeah. I just didn't do good that day.
Yeah, that's right.
And I ended up 7th, and I skated my first pro contest, Tampa Pro the weekend after, and got 7th again.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I was like, okay, I'm happy with that 7th now. Yeah. So I actually have the trophies from it, because it was a big deal. It's my first pro trophy.
Wow. Awesome.
It's got some girth to it.
Yeah, it does, man.
But I also have another one that's slightly smaller because they gave trophies for Am.
Yeah.
So I have the smaller version,
Okay.
The big
The
version.
bigger version.
Bigger
Same
version.
year.
So yeah, this is my first pro contest, and I got a trophy. It was Tampa Pro 6.
Yeah.
6 tricks.
Unreal.
Back to back, and that was it. So that one means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Tampa trophies, but this is the one.
I have a lot of trophies.
I have a lot of
Tampa trophies.
Tampa trophies.
Yeah, I know. I got a lot of
Because all
Tampa.
the Tampa was like one of the few parks
Absolutely.
that always held a
Yeah.
contest, so I was always at Tampa. So
Yeah.
I have a whole collection of just Tampa trophies.
Those guys have just done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Skate Park at Tampa is like
That last
it's-
contest was wild.
all of them.
Yeah.
What was that,
Yeah.
35?
Oh no.
What's that?
They've been doing the contest at Tampa.
Yeah, it just happened, or it's happening.
We watched it here in the studio.
No, it's shit. Actually, it's coming up around the corner here in another
it's
3
just
months.
street, so I don't.
3 months, I think, is the Tampa Am,
Yeah.
and then like late March, early March or something is when the pro hits, and
Yeah.
then I mean that's the contest that everybody who wants to do anything goes to,
Yeah.
because those guys put on a great contest, and all the best talent is there.
Yeah, and sponsors are all there.
Yeah,
and everything
everybody.
They gets featured, and featured on all the
For
YouTube
a
channels.
private contest, it's not run by the X Games or
Yeah.
anything like that. Tampa is probably the biggest and the best.
Yeah.
So still after
Bring
20
back that Verramp Schaefer.
after what 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Schaefer. I mean, I hope he does. That's the rumor. I hope he does it.
He does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I just wanted to bring that up because that was like how I started was Tampa.
Okay.
That's where I started skating, and then that's where I ended this.
Do you actually remember any part of your life from that day?
No.
Oh. Well, this isn't actually Tampa, but
This is a clip from Rio
oh, okay.
in Brazil. I think I did really well in this one. This is the one I got second.
Second at the Rio contest. That's saying something in Brazil. Considering I think you were like really stoked because you acted like it.
I know, I was like, damn, it was really good run. If I didn't do
Yeah.
what the hell?
If you didn't remember, you might have gotten 12th, but we'll say second.
Yeah, I
No,
think
no.
it was like
I'm kidding.
09,
Yeah.
maybe 2010 or something.
Well, Brazil anytime you get in the top 10 in vert
Yeah.
in Brazil is amazing. Because there's just
And you're not Brazilian.
and you're not Brazilian, yeah, but just the fact that there's so many amazing Brazilian skaters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Brazil, US. Like, I mean,
Still. Still.
we got Pedro.
Yeah.
That guy's insane. I love that guy.
Big fan.
Skateboarding wise, man, he's got one of my 3 best tricks I've ever seen at the combi done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's when he flew over
That's
from
why
the
you
square
did it.
pool to the round pool. Yeah,
Oh, because he did the gap?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane, man.
Yeah, that's definitely. He's one of my favorite skaters. He's a little bit younger than me, so I grew up skating with him too. I remember meeting him at a Tampa Am, and him knowing like zero English. And at that time, I remember meeting him at one of the Tampa Ams, early 2000. It was also the time when there was no young Brazilians.
Yeah.
There was no
Yeah.
young anything at the time when I came to training. So that was like the one kid from Brazil. So that's
Okay.
where it kind of went off. And then I was like, I'm a pro skater. I'm going to sign me up. When's the next contest?
Rad. Okay.
Which also isn't easy to get in pro contests when they're invite only.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing I don't like. If they have those kind of contests, there should be a way that guys can still qualify to get in.
There used to be. At that time
like-
there was.
Yeah.
Now there's not.
Yeah, but there should be. Because there's, I mean, hey, give like the top 10 guys at a contest the will to get into it instead of just doing it.
There used to be. That's how I. But
I think that's why the sport is stagnant right now.
yeah, it's just like when they
Yeah,
do
it's the same guys
contest,
every time.
and nothing wrong, nothing against those guys, but they need to mix it up, bro.
Yeah,
10 skaters.
yeah,
It's been like that for the last few years, and like the skaters are bummed on it, like,
Mhm.
but it's the organized. Like you can't.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is those 10 guys want to make the money because they're guaranteed money pretty much.
Yeah.
And but they should still like almost say we're not coming unless other people are invited to it.
Yeah.
You need to make this for 25 or something. That's all.
Years old up on the branch. They don't have that. There's none of those bronze that are up on that. Well, that one kid and their X Games.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
So let me ask you, okay, like skateboarding went under kind of a weird thing back then too, because you had guys who never skated contest.
Mm-hmm.
They just did everything in video.
Yeah.
Okay, they're video pros.
Yeah.
Okay, and like you were talking earlier, like the one hit banger. You know what I mean? Like, what's your feeling about guys that never competed? You know,
I
mean,
don't.
you know,
I
vert is a little bit different. Street was
vert,
the bigger
vert's
thing.
A little weird. I think the video part thing kind of came in because of the 90s when there wasn't any opportunity to be a contest skater.
Because there wasn't a whole lot.
Because there wasn't a lot,
force people
so, like,
into it.
That's so that they had to do videos.
Yeah.
Nowadays, yeah, there's more of. It's more contest based. It's just vert skating has just always been about contests. We're vert jocks and fully vert jock right here.
Yeah.
I love me a contest. I love watching a contest. I love being in a contest. I will train for a contest. And that's just the way it is for vert. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's how we make a living. There's a lot of good contest skaters that don't like skating contests, but they want a career, you know.
Yeah. I can think of a few skaters that, you know, just I don't know if they just didn't like contests, they didn't like to be judged. You know, they felt like, you know, that it wasn't fair. Mm-hmm. And they were amazing skateboarders, but they wouldn't go into a contest just for those reasons. Like, you know, they just hated it. But anyway, let's talk, you know, we've got some style, we've got some pictures of you here.
Recent stuff.
And yeah, I mean, some of it's recent, some of it's not so recent, some of it's a little bit older, but I kind of want to throw in a little bit here and there. I know this is over at the Brazilian guy's house. Munch's house, yeah.
In Vista, California.
Who is basically the Olympic team manager for Brazil, right?
No.
Really? No, I thought he was. No? He just has all the guys come over and skate at his place?
Yeah, he just had the private ramp. Yeah, he should have put that in there.
No, somebody just told me that's what it was. So I was like, okay, cool. But I guess he just has all the Brazilian guys
he's
at his house skating
that's like
everywhere.
The spot.
Yeah, okay.
Brazilian and regular.
Okay.
Not Brazilian, it's just like
no, yeah,
you know how
everybody.
tight that group of dudes is really tight, like just in general. Like,
yeah. Well, I went to
take care of each other. It's great.
Yeah, I went to their contest that they had, I don't know, like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And it was the first time I met him.
Oh, really?
And his wife and the whole bit. So it was really cool. It was a great contest.
Yeah, we actually, my birthday is the same day he moved to California. So it's just fun. So it's like it's an important date for both of us. Yeah. It's just funny. We figured that out one day. He was like, that's the day I moved to America. And I was like, that's my birthday. And I was like, all right. Cool.
Instant bond right there. No, that's rad. Okay, so, as far as skateboard, like ramps go and stuff, what ramp did you like? What ramp are you... I mean, I know you're skating Tony Hawk's ramp right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still skating like at Claremont? Are you still skating like pretty much everywhere in Encinitas?
It's mostly just Claremont Hawks. And then there's Elliott's.
Yeah, Elliott's.
Manchas. There's a lot of options. There's not a lot of public options.
Is Bourse Ramp still good? Is that still in good shape? Or
no idea. I've never been there, but no one really skates there. I don't know what the situation is.
I heard it was getting kind of beat up a little bit. So anyway,
beat up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know Bourse very well, so I don't know what's going on. But I just know people don't skate there. So
okay,
it's in the middle of being resurfaced.
Is it? Okay.
I know Chris really good.
Oh, you do? See, I don't know him very well.
Well, Chris is another guy who rode for Powell back in the day.
Yeah.
And then he took his surfing and he started shaping surfboards and has a super name of making pro surfboards now.
Yeah.
So he shapes. He's got a place in Oceanside. And yeah, he's doing great, man. He's a super good guy. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So let's see. Okay, let me ask you. X Games. Okay, you skated in a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they good for the sport? Did they help? Did they help grow everything? And you know, I mean, like, you know, what's your opinion? You were in them.
It's a high, you know, high tier contest to be able to skate. It's not what it used to be, but it was really important to all the skaters. It was really important to me personally because it's just like also kid that's like, I want to be in the X Games one day, and then you're in it. So it's like, it means a lot to me personally, and I think it means a lot to the skaters in terms of opportunity, because it is, compared to the other contests, it's a good payout.
Yeah.
And it was the only time you really got covered by, you know, big public nationally on ESPN. Man. It was like it's the only time when it's like people who don't watch skateboarding would watch.
Huge stage.
Biggest stage of any contest.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a little different nowadays, but at the time it was like the top tier, like, dude, if
the best of the best got in there.
That's why my parents are so excited, and my sponsors are so excited.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, at that point, you know, that's I was going to get into that with the X Games and stuff, but that's going to be the next point. Okay, so yeah, what was it like when you were like, you know, competing? Okay, at X Games, like how many like X Games medals did we win in that? Like,
I honestly don't have that many X Games medals.
Okay.
I skated in a lot of X Games, but didn't do good in all of them.
Okay.
I do have several medals. I have one that really stood out to me a lot, and it's still like, I feel like it was the best feeling I've ever had at the time, and still kind of is one of those. It was in 2011. I got second in Big Air.
Yeah. Okay.
Next to Vernquist.
Okay.
He won, and I got second.
How high would we go?
I pulled out my best moves, and I did it skating it. So I'm not really sure. But when it was inside the Staples, I did skate when it was inside Staples the last time they did it, and it was 70.
Okay.
When it was in there, and so I did have a chance to actually skate the 70-foot jumps, and I did skate. And honestly, I would never do that again in my entire life. There's mega skaters that are like that are good at mega, like like Elliot and Ronnie Gomes and Mitchie, where we're like the 70 is still like
it's doable.
It's doable.
It's doable for 1%.
One time.
Yeah,
it's like a one-time thing. Like I did it. I did the jump that big.
Thank you.
Because
bucket list check.
Yeah, for mega to get a little bit deeper into mega, there was a point to where it was like, is it about how big the jump is or about the trick?
Yeah.
Because we started doing tricks.
It's actually both, man.
Yeah.
Like it's...
But the jump can limit the tricks.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can see that.
Do you feel with the mega,
you know,
with the shorter, the mega mini, you feel you get a lot more tricks in?
Yeah. The consensus is that it is more fun to ride a smaller jump. We can ride the big jumps, but it's harder to do tricks. So it's like you got to balance between big jump and going big.
Yeah.
But and having the time to do big tricks, you know, to spend that extra 180 at that time when you have the bigger gap. But also, it's way more fucking dangerous.
Oh hell yeah!
Like way more dangerous.
I've seen some people take some serious falls, man.
You'd be surprised.
Lucky that they were alive today, man.
You'd be surprised how much 5 feet of gap when something that big makes a difference.
Absolutely.
All the difference in the world. Like when you're jumping gaps that big, you're thinking 5 feet is.
That's just table length.
It would that table length will change your life.
Oh man, I just
thank God for Masonite now, like in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Plywood.
Yeah, steel.
Or steel. Get a burn or get a big splinter in your body.
You know, it's just that it's you know, what was your go-to tricks when you were doing it? Yeah, mega.
That year I did it. I did I think I did the varial lean. There's a video of it.
Okay, over the gap.
Over the gap, I think I did front side varial lean.
Okay.
360.
Okay.
So that was I guess it would have been slob to melon.
Yeah.
It would be considered like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just did a big 5 on the quarter.
Yeah.
Like a high one.
Yeah, like 17 feet. What do you
no,
get?
I think I was in 20.
20. Okay.
I think it's only the few times where I hit 20.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like you'll do it in the contest. The only time.
The contest. Yeah, you don't really. Okay.
That's the only time because like you can land depending on where you land. You know, when you're riding so much, you know how fast you're kind of going.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like we kind of know, but you can pump into that quarter, and I never pumped into the quarter. The only time I pump into the quarter to get speed is during the contest
Okay.
because it's like now, like I'm not gonna not do well because of a foot I didn't go. It's like now or never. And I remember
Yeah.
I pumped. I remember I'm like I did the gap and I'm like this is it. This is my chance. This is my chance to shine. Pumping into that quarter.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. I did 20 feet. It's probably the only time I've hit in 20.
Yeah.
And
well, here's a weird question: how many guys do you think have done a 20-foot high 540, like in skateboarding?
it's not that many.
There's not that many.
I count them on both hands.
Yeah.
Nah, you count them on both hands.
Yeah.
Maybe some more.
I think it's growing, but a lot of it though is on more of the mini mega.
Yeah.
The guys that are doing it, not on the mega. On the mega, I think you could do it probably on one hand, because people got smart and said, "Hey, this is like Danny jumping the Great Wall,
Right.
breaks his leg, gets injected, and then goes back and does it again."
Yeah, I skated with Danny in one X Games.
Yeah.
When I was in my very first X Games was like the last X Games Danny did.
And how old were you at that time when you were doing it?
I was
Like 16 still?
No. When I was doing contests,
Yeah.
X Games, no, I was 17.
17. Okay, 17. You were probably the youngest guy up there then, right?
Me and Rob Lorfus were the youngest. He's
Okay.
a year older than me, but it was just me and him.
Yeah, because the rest of those guys are doing it for 27, 28 in their prime. Like now that we know, that was kind of, I think 28 is kind of like your prime in skateboarding. As far as being, like doing that kind of stuff,
if that's true nowadays, but
You think it's younger or older?
it's younger. No,
It's younger?
definitely not older. No.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, there's a lot of
different
guys.
now.
There's a lot of guys. Well, I mean, but considering like those guys were like Bob and Danny.
There's a physical
I know like Chris
aspect of
Miller.
it.
Yeah,
like physically, you got to be built
yeah,
to ride that shit. If you're too small, you're gonna go short,
yeah,
and it's hard to go high if you're small.
yeah. That's right. You just can't get the speed.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was just.
That's why it's like that for verts in mega skating, it physically actually matters a lot
Absolutely.
compared to maybe street where you're not throwing your weight around so much and
Well,
you
have to have the speed to do it, man. You just
and
have
technique.
to have it.
It's also technique.
Yeah, technique has a lot to do with
Technique has a lot to it because Lincoln Ueda is one of the smallest dudes,
it.
and he's one of the highest flyers. That's how you know it's all technique.
Invert.
And a mega.
Did he do mega?
Yeah, he did mega in blast 20-foot air. He's one of the probably few who's done 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. He does
technique.
20 on a 10-foot ramp.
Yes.
Of course, I did see him get knocked out at Encinitas one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I helped bring him to the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was with T.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was amazing. He's still an amazing guy. It blows me away to see his kids skating.
Yeah. I'm glad that he's giving lessons and stuff now too.
Yeah.
Coaching. He's coaching.
Yeah, he works for
California
training facility.
Yeah. Exactly.
He runs.
So. Yeah.
Oh.
So. Okay. Yeah.
Bucky's Bowl, rest in peace, man. Best bowl ever built.
There it is.
Best
people.
bowl ever built. Hands
best
down.
bowl.
Amazing photography.
Yeah, Scott Taylor, also a personal good friend. No relation.
Yeah. You never know.
You never know. There's Taylor's out there. But yeah, Scott's a personal good friend, someone I like skating with, and he's a great photographer and also a great musician.
Okay. Well, let me ask you.
Yeah, videographer, and he also shot my engagement photo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you prefer? Skating pools or skating half pipes? What's your forte? What do you like?
I would say in my heyday, I guess I would say mega.
Okay.
I would say mini mega.
Mini mega, yeah.
Mini mega is what would have been my favorite thing to skate.
Okay.
Now I just skate vert. I used to skate pools, but big pools only like Combi and Bucky's Bowl and
yeah. Okay.
you know,
It's
big
13
stuff
feet.
that's got vert in it.
Yeah.
So basically a vert ramp with round corners.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hawks photo. This is one of the first photos I took when I started skating again several years ago. And Chris Dangard shot this. Chris Clicks, he's known as. Shoots a lot of my photos. I think this is another Scott Taylor photo.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Slab.
You know.
You know what? I even remember when I shot this, I was like, if I can get my knee like Bucky's,
Yeah.
I'd be so excited. And he still, like, I always wanted to do slobs with my knee really touching the board like Bucky, and I never could do it. What's wrong? It's still like, that's me trying to do it as hard as I can.
Hey, it's pretty close, man. It's pretty close. He just lays it down a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, another lean air at Hawk.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good photo. I like that.
Who did you like watching the most when you're skating Mega? Like, who were you just like, oh, God.
Bob.
Here comes. Okay, Bob.
Bob, even though I know him well, I know how he skates, I know what he's going to do most of the time, he still surprises me. It still always has a surprise. Like, he really is the spontaneous skater that...
Okay. I got it. Okay, so here's a question, though. Where did you get to practice? Like, how do you go in there and
Mega?
think like, yeah, I'm going to go practice Mega today. You know, it's a 50-foot thing. I know those stairs, it takes 15 minutes to get to the top or 20 minutes to walk, you know, and then you got all the stairs to climb up. Like, I'm just looking at Bob's. And that's where you practice.
Yeah, Burnt.
Okay. So once you get down to the bottom, and then you got to walk all the way back up to the top.
That's too far. You take a go-kart.
Oh, you take a go-kart? Is that what he did?
Well, at Bob's, it's like an ATV.
Okay, he's got an
one
ATV.
of the big 4-seater ATVs. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because I saw people walking when I was there. I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, it takes a half an hour.
You gotta have someone drive it.
Okay, but
have it the ATV.
But still climbing up all the stairs, going all the way up to the top.
No,
that thing still up there.
That's why he's saying it's not a problem.
No, I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm saying I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, okay. But how do you practice? Like, how does it? Like, if you practice there, how many runs did you get in a day to practice?
It's really like, it's kind of a spectacle, even for us skaters. Even at the time when there was Mega contests, like full Mega, not mini Mega, we really don't skate it that much.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of, like I said, like so let's say it's the month before X Games, that's when you're skating like every day.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, you probably don't skate it for 6 months, and it's like, that's just normal. It's really dangerous.
I know.
You can't just go casually skate Mega.
I know. That's the whole thing right there.
Mega today. I got 20 minutes.
Yeah, like, oh, let's go catch a sesh, you know. I'll pad up and we'll do some air, some car grades. No, it's like you drop in.
Yeah.
You're about to go 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. That's just it, though. Like, and then everybody seems so consistent when they're at the contest. Like, you see some guys.
Because you don't want to fall.
Oh, of course you don't want to fall, but I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of thing that really blew my mind is when I watched it, okay, on the X Games, and you know, you're watching it live, like when Jake fell, you know, and you just sit there and you think, like, where did these guys get to practice? Like, the only place that I knew of was Bob's had it at that time, okay, and then there was one other one that was out like in
Danny's Point X.
Yeah, Point X.
Yeah,
that was
where he shot his DC video.
Yeah,
but that was even before they started doing it at X Games. It was, and then also Bob's is private ramp, and it's extremely dangerous. It's not just open for anyone to go.
No, it's not.
You got to have someone to drive the ATV.
Yeah,
it's got to be the right weather. People don't realize, like, skating.
Wind. Yeah.
You think wind fucks you up when you go skate a bowl on a ramp? Like legit, contest pushbacks because the wind is too dangerous to skate. Fully go to the ramp and be like, it's too windy, I can't skate.
Yeah.
Especially when you think you're going to make it, but you got that wind coming at you. Headwind slows you down.
Headwind's the word. Headwind, but also tailwinds can be just as bad.
Yeah.
Because that hangs you. Because that hangs you on the quarter.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I'm like the way Bob's is doing, it's straight into the wind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He might have a little crosswind between the mountains, like we're through there.
It's kind of settled in there a little bit, so it's not that bad, but not when you go to contests.
Yeah.
Not when they set it up in Brazil, it's scaffolding straight up.
Yeah.
Like, skate up and you got to take an elevator.
It's perfect at that point. Yeah.
Elevator.
But that's not for practice. And that's the one thing I always, so I had Jake Brown in here talking about, and I never asked him about the practice. You know, like, how did you get to practice?
Oh, you didn't get a chance to ask him that?
Yeah, I forgot. You know, we talked so much.
Honestly, you don't practice that much.
Yeah, but that's why I was so blown away at the consistency thing Like these guys haven't done it. This is the first time, and they're dropping in at 50 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour, you know, and then jumping a 50-foot gap, and then having to hit a how big is a quarter pipe?
27.
Like 20, 27, 27. I mean,
Still 2 feet of vert.
is that right?
Yeah.
There's only 2 feet of vert.
I'm pretty sure. I'm about 95% sure it's 2 feet of vert.
Bob's is more than that.
And that's what it is on vert.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
2 feet
Bob's
of vert.
looks more, but I don't know.
I
I looked at it from the bottom. I was like, oh, shoes.
Yeah,
You know, guys do that. You know, like that's, hey, man,
either
respect for that.
it's either you do or you don't.
Yeah.
There's very.
I don't
I'm
know.
serious. You either do it or you don't do it. There's no in between.
That's right. You
It's not
can't.
a casual thing.
It's not. There's no in between. Either you're full on gonna do it, or you're just not.
Yeah.
There's no in between. Like it's really weird.
Do you know
the learning curve? There isn't a curve.
Yeah.
There's no learning curve because there's very talented vert skaters that can't ride mega. Like that just it just doesn't make sense in their head. You know.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense, or they just don't care for it, or they're flat out scared.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the best vert skaters go to the top of the vert mega and be like,
Nope.
no,
Yeah.
fully padded, ready to drop, and just
Then I see.
put their vert up like they never dropped in before, and it's like, and then there's guys who aren't, I would say, are the best vert skaters, but are crushing on there.
Yeah. Has anybody ever made it on the first time from just dropping in, jumping the gap, and then doing?
Someone has. I made it on my 6th try.
Your 6th
I'll
try?
never forget it.
Okay. That's right.
I made it on my 6th try at Point X when I was still at Danny's. There was no kids doing it.
Yeah.
It was just me and Lorfus.
Okay.
And at the time, I think there was one kid that did it when he was 15. I did it when I was 16. And then at Point X, and I remember because I made the gap and I didn't know what to do on the quarter. And I did my air and I landed, I didn't make it, but I landed solo on the transition. I hurt my back so bad.
Yeah.
It was probably one of my worst, well, not my worst injury, but at the time, it was my worst injuries. It was, yeah, but it was, I got up from that and I was like, this is the best thing ever. I want to keep doing this, even though I just almost killed myself. It's like you just know, you drop it on vert for your first time and you're like, I love this. This is what I want to ride. And it was the same thing when I was 16 years old. When I dropped the mag, I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Who's the youngest?
When can I come back?
Who's the youngest? Who's the youngest that you know of that's jumped it?
Who's doing mega ramp?
I mean,
under 15. Is there anybody?
No, there is. It was. I don't remember. It was probably like Tom Char.
Yeah.
Maybe at the time, I don't know the age, but I think at the time he was like one of the like little like not developed like physically kids doing it. And probably maybe Jagger Eaton.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's still killing it.
He's very
So
killing
are there any when you go?
Yeah,
have you done any mega lately?
No, not really since Elliot built his. It's really the only one. There's the one at Woodward East. Well, I skated a lot of mini mega go during the same time as mega. They would go at the same time. It was like California Skate Parks was doing mini mega contests, and then there was mega contests. We had mega contests in Brazil. We'd have X Games mega. That's 2 mega contests.
Wow.
It sounds like not a lot, but at the time it was.
Yeah.
And then in between that, we had several mini mega contests. It was really good, and I had a lot of fun, and I did well.
I think mini is gonna pretty much take it out. I don't think the mega ramp thing is gonna do it
X
anymore.
Games just got sold. Sold majority shares, and apparently Tony's the main sharer. I don't know.
Who is
Tony?
Really?
Big Hog. He's one of the people that, and X Games announced it where they're like,
yeah, no, I saw
Tony
that.
is the guy now, and I'm like, that sounds like vert skating's gonna come back finally again.
Oh, so that's why you made that comment.
Which one?
Okay. No, I remember you saying something that Vert's going to make a comeback now because of that.
People have been
because
saying
of,
Vert is going to make a comeback.
Yeah.
25 years.
Okay. Well, I feel better.
34 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, better than Vert Alert, Vert Alert, and X Games.
Yeah.
That's what there was. There's been.
No, it's very hard to make money to make a living.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that too. As I was saying, I was skating as a professional skateboarder. I wasn't the best vert skater, and I was doing podiums, but I wasn't winning, and I was still making a very good living.
Yeah.
You can make a living in 2000 being a moderate pro vert skater.
Yeah.
Now you can be the best vert skater in the world and be like scraping by or just give up because there's no point.
Yeah.
It's really sad. The talent.
I get it.
It really bums me out because like if I stayed healthy and didn't have my injuries, stayed skating as a pro skater, I don't know what I would be doing anyways. Like I'd have to get a real job.
Like well, you had a real job at one point before you got your job now.
like a real 95 job.
I mean, digging ditches and stuff.
Yeah, digging ditches.
No.
It could be real. So
That's what I did.
You went and started your own workout.
Yeah.
yeah, was when I was younger for sure. Stoked learning that.
Made you look at the industry a lot different though.
Oh, for sure. Made me get a little more of that insider, business practice. It's
And now you're
not just all about fun and games.
Now you're
Yeah.
central, from what I understand. You know everything that's going on in the biz.
Yeah, I now I had the injuries which I want to touch on.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Well, I was just like, okay, so when you turned pro, we went as a vert skater, as pro, and then Mega Ramp came in.
Yeah.
You did better, I think, in Mega Ramp though, right, than vert?
I consistently did better
Yeah,
than Mega.
consistently.
Also, there wasn't that many.
That's right.
But the ones that they did do, I was on the podium usually every time, whether it was second or third or first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Especially when you
That's
don't get
also
the
why
channel.
I really liked it too, because
here we have a picture of it,
That's Mega. That's the year I got second too.
Yeah, and that's why
I think
I said,
yeah.
Here you are on a Mega going 20,
That's a pretty cool photo. The sequence.
25
It really
feet,
is.
25 feet.
I don't know who did
above.
that or shot that, but it's like one of my favorite photos.
Yeah.
It says Skin Industries.
That was my clothing sponsor at the time.
Well, that's is that their
They must have bought it
logo
from someone. No,
Yeah.
that's my logo.
here? I love that shot. That's such a
Yeah.
great shot. And then this one.
Was that the year I got second?
Was that New Jersey?
No, that was at Staples Center.
What was it?
That was
Staples.
downtown LA. Yeah, Christstairs.
How-
Christstairs is like one of the easiest tricks to do on there, and it's so
Well,
sick.
you have a little bit of time to do it.
Like seriously, if people always ask, does it feel like flying? When you do Christstairs, it does feel like you're flying. Like fully, like you can like pull out your board and fully be like, give it that extension.
Yeah.
That like
I can
when
see you
know
doing
when
it there.
you go do
You need to put your
Christstairs?
feet together, though,
Yeah, I know it's embarrassing. I do have some with my feet together.
at 25 feet above.
But when you like go pose a Christstair when you're skating vert, you're like, look how pose I can do it.
Yeah.
You can do those on there.
Yeah, I can see
They
that.
look dope.
Yeah, I know, man.
Like board above the head, man.
Yeah.
It's all about the board above the head.
Yeah, man. That's Christian would be proud of that.
Yeah.
Even though he was pulling his off like really fast.
I mean, that's hard.
but
it's hard to go high in those rooms.
I know it is, man. I know. Okay, so let's see. Where are we?
Bottom of the page.
So as far as it goes, though, you did a pretty good living, like you said, and that was basically from skating contests. Sponsor-wise, you were okay.
Yeah.
Still doing it. I mean, you still had clothing and trucks. Were they paying you, or how did that work? I mean, okay. I mean, I'm going to be running into that question here pretty quick too. So let's start right there, and then I'd like to know, like, at what point did you get a manager?
Yeah.
Like you had a management team working for you. Okay. So fill me in on how that was going.
Well, when I started doing good in the vert contests, tour was a big aspect. But when it was the tour, it was 5 stops. There was a open qualifier.
Okay.
And I remember that first year I skated, they had an open qualifier in Baltimore. And you had to, this is when there was a lot of vert skaters still.
Right.
And it was hard to qualify to get into top 20.
Yeah.
And I did, I went through the qualifier, passed them, made it into the tour, the top 20. And that locked me into the tour for the rest of the 5 stops.
Yeah.
For the rest of the stops. So when I got that, I had an energy drink called Steez. And I had no money at the time. My parents didn't really have money.
Okay, but it was an energy drink.
Yeah, an organic energy drink. It was like at that beginning of like healthy energy drinks.
Is that around still? Or?
Yeah, it's still at the, they're not in Action Sport. They pulled out Action Sports.
Okay.
But it was at the time where it was like,
They use the stevia for the sugar.
no, they don't use
They
stevia
don't
for
use
this.
the stevia.
People, when they hear Steez, they think of
Yeah,
stevia. This was actually before that stevia craze kind of came. I think stevia is disgusting. But I'm very thankful for them because, I don't know, I had a contract with them. My dad helped work out because because he was helpful. They paid for all my travel for that year. That's the
awesome.
only way I got to go to every detour, and because of that, it kind of locked me into the scene.
Okay, well, let me ask you: did you have to wear Steve's helmet? Like, did you put the sticker and stuff on the thing?
Normal sticker on the boards.
Okay, and their whole thing was, we'll pay for all your travel to all the contests.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all we want is a sticker on the helmet.
Yeah.
And we're stoked.
Yeah, they were cool people.
Awesome.
They were
okay. Appearances or anything like that?
No, because they didn't really have that. It was kind of like they believed in me. Because it was like a real company. It wasn't
Weren't
like
they just starting out. Like,
yeah, they were just
out like a year or so before you got put on them.
Yeah, it was all new stuff, and nobody was doing organic energy drinks yet, so it was kind of edgier.
Are you still in contact with those guys?
No, I don't even know who. My dad was a team manager for a bit.
Okay.
Back then.
This would be a good contact to have.
Yeah, I have no idea, but they paid for. I just remember that they paid for all my travel, and without that, I wouldn't probably. It would have been much harder to get where I was at.
Right. Which blows my mind. I mean, like, where was skateboarding at back then?
This was in like 2007, 8. That was like after I did that Tampa.
Okay.
Did the Tampa stuff, and then
2008. Okay, I was 18. 2008. I was over at Syndrome at that time. We were doing Plan B and stuff, so that's why I didn't feel any crunch or anything. Because we were still
The rest of the industry was feeling that.
Yeah, I guess.
Financial.
I guess. Yeah, we did.
There was a lot of skateboarding does this.
Yeah. Every other year.
That's where we were. Not as low as it is right now, but
yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of like took up the tour kind of took off. That was back when it was a tour too, and that's 5 contests a year. Paid out 5 contests with it was rankings.
Yeah.
Year end rankings payout results, which was a lot of money. Looking back, I definitely didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. And everyone else, I think, didn't appreciate it as much as they should have either. Because those guys that are either completely out of the scene and working a real job, or hopefully save their money, or kind of skating every now and then. But
is that the reason why you got a manager?
The reason I got a manager, because I was like, I'm getting good. Like, there's commercial opportunity here, so I got. I don't even know how. It was probably my parents helped me doing it. But got into Octagon, which is a big agency. And Bob Klein was my manager. And, they were trying to get me stuff. And I can't remember what little stuff they got me. But then Buster Halterman, who took me under my wing, started working for Octagon. And then he was my manager. He got me Jack Link's Skin Industries as like those. I had some other small paying sponsors.
Can I ask you, what's a small paying sponsor do?
They pay you a few $100 a month.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's just money then.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. Okay.
They're paying.
They're not.
I had sponsors.
They're not sending you like cases of energy drinks to your house, or sending you.
They are.
Oh, they are. Okay. All right. So you're the cool guy in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I have all fresh.
You had all that stuff. Okay, got it.
I had an underwear sponsor pulling at the time, and socks and stuff, and then I was also sponsored by. Then I got sponsored by 888.
Okay.
Who I work for now, and the team manager for, and they wanted to give me a pro helmet. So I had a pro helmet on 888.
Nice.
This is one of so I was getting paid monthly for that. They were paying me well.
You still have that helmet?
I still have one left. I have a few left, but there's still one in my office.
But I mean,
signature helmet.
Oh, well, you should still have it.
Yeah, I still have
those guys that give you one.
No, I mean, they went out of production online this time ago, but yeah, I had a signature on a helmet with 888, and they believed me. They sponsored me and started paying me before I was like up there getting on the podium and stuff. So it also was really nice. Someone believed in me, and they also now pay me now.
Take care of me.
I'm an employee.
Yeah. No, that's awesome that worked that way.
Yeah, it's just funny how it works. And then 187, of course, Vincent is taking care of me. I always had the freshest pads. And even every tour, he would give me new pads.
Yeah.
And this is a funny story. Vin thinks it's so funny. He told me it recently. He said I would get fresh pads every tour that were different themed to that tour stop.
Okay. Awesome.
So when I had like Utah, we played in the Jazz. We skated in the Jazz Stadium. So I had Jazz pads, and I had all these nice pads.
And you didn't realize it. And
he said someone complained to him that why does Adam get such nice pads all the time? Why does Adam always have new pads? And it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Sponsor, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's just, no, but anybody can get that. Like
Right.
Vin was doing that for me.
Yeah.
It's just funny. It made me feel special.
You know what? Yeah, that is.
And he does that though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he does
does.
He does that with all of his all of his
Yeah,
sponsors.
it was. He just told me that, and that made me.
I remember when Vinton first came over here.
He came
know,
over here the year after I came over here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
When he first moved over here.
When he first moved over here,
Yeah.
and he actually lived the apartment we moved in. My family moved out into another place, and he moved into there, and I lived
Okay.
lived with him at the time.
Interesting, because I just remember when he came over. I was working at Syndrome at the time, and he
Yeah.
came in and stuff because he was friends with Rob Mertz and
Mertz.
yeah, and he was the one who told me about the whole thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, but I met Vinton in Florida when I went down there one time too. So
Yeah.
that was the first time I ever saw the pads and the whole bit. He was
Yeah.
just doing it out of his garage.
He's doing it out of his garage not that long ago. People don't realize like it really is out of the garage.
And then he worked
Oh,
in
yeah.
a little tiny place in Encinitas.
Yeah.
Behind the
Bedoy's?
Yeah.
Behind the Godoy's old tattoo place.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then, it really honestly came from working into the garage to now he sold the company.
Yes. Fantastic, man.
Semi-retired.
That's a true
American dream.
American dream story. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as the Do Tours came along, and then I started. Buster was my manager. He was also the guy that kind of took me under my wing. When I'd go to contests, he would take me there and fly with me, and I'd share the hotel room with him, and because he couldn't afford a whole hotel room, and he would make sure I wasn't acting a fool.
Good, man.
I was a good kid though. wasn't really a party kid.
Yeah.
I was so focused on
You know what, man?
trying to do my best in the contest, but Buster made sure that it stayed that way. And then he scored me Jack Linkson Skin Industries, the clothing company Skin.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything now, and they were very well paying sponsors. And they gave me, I remember when they first signed me, I wasn't doing the best. So I got really good contests with really good incentive based contracts.
Right. Okay.
Incentive heavy based contracts, and then I started doing good, so they had to start paying me out for all these contests they weren't expecting. I don't think for me so the cash piled up pretty quickly.
Good.
So and also I didn't appreciate it as much of the time as I should have.
Yeah, man. You know what? You're young, and I would assume that Buster would probably say, "Hey, you know what? As a manager, hey, you got to look for the future.
Yeah.
You need to buy like a beer company."
He did. He did tell me I need to open he told me right when I made my first bit of catch, he was like, "You got to open an IRA."
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll take you to see
a financial planner guy.
financial planner. He's a skater. Richard Mulder.
Okay. Yeah.
He's worked at Merrill Lynch at the time. He took me there.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the big building and he said,
Well, I
don't know what he's doing now, but yeah, Buster was like, I got a friend.
Yeah, man. No.
Was that the Carlsbad Financial District?
No, this was I don't think so. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Buster was one of the most underrated skaters ever.
I know. Great style.
Unbelievable style, but he made up so many tricks he never got credit for.
I know, right?
He did.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, man, Buster skated so powerful and strong and technical and everything.
Yeah.
And Buster just being as humble and quiet as he is, just, it's okay. No big deal. Hey, but look at this,
Yeah.
I remember, anyway, those were really, really good times. So as far as your vert skating goes, then, okay, did we cover everybody on your sponsors? Was there, did you have Sunglass guys, or
I was sponsored by Anarchy for a little bit.
Okay.
A small niche. I still was sponsored by Osiris.
Okay.
I was sponsored by Osiris from the age 12.
And what year was
until 5 years ago. When now they don't.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been wearing an Osiris shoe for a long time.
What are you wearing now? Shoe-wise?
New Balance.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, one of the.
Are you hooked up with New Balance? Are they
one
Team
of
Manager Ways?
the 187 rep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Our road rep for SoCal also does
Okay.
New Balance.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he gave me a pair of shoes, and I skated in them a certain pair, and I was like, "This is the best shoe I've ever skated."
Really?
Well,
Yeah, I don't even have anything to do with New Balance besides yoga, but I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, this is the best shoe I've ever worn.
wow, that's saying something.
Look right there.
Nah, don't say that, man. Don't tell me. You got to ride Soul Tech or something, you know?
Yeah, this shoe, it's like 187 pads. It's like you put them on and you wear them. And you can't
I guess
deny the
comfort.
and working, doing what it's
And
intended
especially
to
when
do.
you're falling, you want to have that. Protection in your head, that you know that that's going to save your limbs.
Okay, so back to contest.
Yeah.
We won. Was it your first contest in Korea?
I think it was one of the first pro contests I won was in Korea.
Yeah.
That was an adventure.
So yeah,
It was out there in the, I don't know what they would say, but boonies. We caught
yeah,
a beautiful place. It was amazing.
beautiful place.
Beautiful
Did you
place.
experience the 8-lane freeway on each side?
No, I don't think so. We did fly into Seoul and then took bus to the next bus, to the next bus, to the summertime at a ski resort. So it was like
So you were up in the mountains,
up in the mountains. It was
south of Seoul.
I don't even know, dude. It could be, I flew into Seoul and then we went.
Well, I mean, if you go north about 15 minutes, you're right up in North Korea.
It wasn't there, I don't think. It was a big festival. They actually it was a really sick vert ramp out there, but I went out there. It was like a really niche thing, and it was I think I went with Renton Miller and Anthony Furlong out there. That was actually one of the coolest experiences because it was really out there, and it was on a ski resort during the summer, and it was so green.
Yeah.
It was like Florida
How about
green.
that plane ride?
Yeah, it rains a lot there
Did
too.
you go Alaska, Japan, and Korea, or did you just take the straight
No,
flight?
this was a
through
long
Hawaii?
time ago. I have the thing right here.
We have
He told me to bring some stuff, and this was the medal from it.
that's what we-
absolutely. So that came from Korea, huh?
2010.
2010.
Plus
We've got
20.
this.
There you go. Show it.
Yeah, that's rad, man.
That's
Yeah,
such
that's-
a cool medal.
Yeah, you know what I noticed? Anytime I do any Asian event, contest, they have the coolest trophies.
Yeah.
Whether it's a medal or a big glass sculpture, I like, no, you're going to get something good when you do out there.
Because contests mean a lot to
Yeah, that's right,
That's
man.
the reason why Japan is.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we're not the best. We're going to be the best skater, have the best skaters. That's
Right.
another subject.
Well, we
get there.
actually, I feel that we do,
We do.
but I don't know if they understand what the judges are looking for to be able to make them happy to be able to get the scores. I don't know.
That sounds like
I'm
when
lost.
we were talking to Doug Marker about
Yeah, Spring Valley.
the very
Yeah,
first Spring Valley pool
contest. Yeah,
It was a 2-minute run.
yeah.
Dude, fuck that.
So
2 minutes. It's just a run, but Salva just kept doing
frontside grinds,
and
man.
won the contest
Who won
for
it?
that,
Yeah.
because his dad knew what the judges
Well, they want to get a
It's
point for
important-
every
it's
wall,
important thing to-
so you want to go as many walls as you can.
Can I use the restroom?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
No worries. Okay, so the next thing is on the contest too. You got a second place. Where was that at?
that was at the 2011 X Games. Big Air.
Big Air.
It was
Okay.
at the Staples Center in downtown LA, like the middle of the road. It's like, what?
The Staples Center. Second place X Games. So you got a chunk of change for that.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest payout in my entire career.
Is that when everybody like grabbed you and said, "Hey, we want to sponsor you"?
Yeah,
You know,
no,
everybody comes
actually-
at you when you do that kind of stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, at that time I had good sponsors already.
Okay.
And I was making them proud.
So they were stoked.
Yeah. So
They got their money's worth.
They got their money's worth. I guess you could say it. I guess that's how, I guess that's how people kind of look at it. Now that I'm on the
You did
business.
like a
Yeah.
statistical football
Yeah.
player say, "Hey, I want all
Yeah.
this. I want to redo my contracts."
So what is the medal for here?
Oh yeah, I brought it because it's one of my favorites. It's actually kind of cool because I think it's supposed to look like a police badge,
Yeah.
like a cop badge or something.
Okay. So where was this one? This was the X Games. That was the second
That was
place.
that year. Yeah, the
Okay.
second place, 2011 Big Air.
See, man, like you've got a lot of those things, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you know, you've like close to what 8, 10 different podiums. Like how many
Oh.
total podiums did we go with back then?
back then,
Yeah.
like any contest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Throw them all together.
don't
Korea
know.
first place,
there's Big Air
second
ones,
place, Big
probably
Airs.
20, maybe more.
20 different
Yeah, it has to be something like that.
That's
Really
I don't know how many contests
That's
you think
incredible.
you skated in.
That's the thing. Also, it's not the best ratio. I used to skate a lot of content.
yeah, well, that's okay.
Well, I mean, you were young, and so you were skating
Yeah, but you
against Ben.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
So I mean, if you were a little bit older, you would probably
Yeah.
got a little higher. But
Yeah,
no, I mean
that's still a lot of podiums, brother.
that's
Yeah.
huge.
yeah. It was.
I mean,
did a lot.
99% of the pros that are out there can't say that. You know what I mean?
I think I'm just jaded because I'm always surrounded by people who have like
Well, you can't talk about
piles of
Tony
them.
Hawk.
Oh yeah,
okay?
when I'm skating with
Or
people like
Bucky or- yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Bob
Burnquist and like all
Yeah,
these other people,
okay.
like, oh, you only have
Okay, but you got to look at.
you only have 10 medals.
You gotta look
What?
at.
I got like 40.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but you got to remember that's the top tier. That's in the pyramid. That's this part of this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you're like, you're still like,
Iowa that just is envious of you that you get to skate with
Yeah.
him, and he's like 11, getting by himself.
Yeah.
in the
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
some of the kids tell me, because the kids are, now that I'm older,
Yeah,
the kids that were like, I wasn't even skating and I was watching you, and,
Yeah.
and they're like pro skaters now. I'm like, oh really? That makes me feel old, but that's pretty cool.
hey man, put these in my shoes, man.
I'm over 30 now, so I'm starting to get the old wake up in the morning. Why does my back hurt?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. It gets way better than
wait, I
that.
can't eat whatever I want.
Wait, but that was April when I was 17. Oh yeah, I slammed a lot that year.
Hey, wait till your knees go, and then you start putting on the weight.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to realize that.
So anyway, all right. Well, let's get into after all the contests and success that you had, which was just a huge amount compared to. I mean, you can't. I know you hang out with all the top guys even now. Can't compare yourself to those guys. You can, but you know, I mean, you still did phenomenal, like incredible. So anyway, let's get to the next topic because I know this is something you really want to talk about, which
Yeah.
is the injuries.
Yeah,
Okay, you got hurt, man. You paid the price for skateboarding.
yeah. I mean,
And-
I feel like I paid the ultimate price. Like, so it was like we kind of built it all up here, but then like I think it was 2010 Dew Tour finals in Las Vegas, the Hard Rock, where they built the. It's kind of crazy. They built there's the pool at the back of the Hard Rock, one that's like a
Right.
beach with sand
Yeah.
and whatnot. They built a clear stage over the
the
pool
fountain,
and
yeah.
put the vert ramp on top of it. The vert ramp was in the middle of the pool. It was horrible. We all had boards, second boards.
Fly in the water.
Yeah.
No, we all brought had two boards there.
Yeah.
Because it was literally the tiny normal vert railings and then a pool. I don't know who
Yeah.
came up with that. They really weren't thinking about the skaters, but
Yeah.
it was still pretty sick. Because it was hard rock. It was the Hard Rock
Yeah,
at the pool,
yeah.
and you're the star of the show.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
That was cool.
But that was just a vert ramp, though.
yeah,
That was just a vert ramp.
But
Can you imagine if it was, you know, the big ramp, you know,
yeah, it
like,
wouldn't fit.
then that would have been
Yeah.
really
So
amazing. So,
yeah,
All right.
that was really cool. So that was it was finals, I think, or maybe it was qualifiers. But I was warming up, and literally I was warming up for the contest, and like I think it was Duncan on the mic, and it's like, all right, guys, one more run. The contest is about to start. I'm like, all right, I'll just take another run. I went and do a stale 5, and one of those minor mistakes, I was leaning just a little far back. Did the whole bottom of the tranny head over heels.
yeah.
With that out, done. I don't really remember much until I got to the hospital, but it was really bad. And I was wearing my helmet. People always ask, "You're wearing a helmet?" It's like, yeah, I ate shit really hard. I was wearing
Yeah.
my helmet. If
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing my helmet, head would have exploded all over the ramp. But I found out, at the hospital that I had a bleed in my frontal lobe right here. A bleed in the brain is like the worst thing. Not the worst thing, but like it can end up being the worst thing. So I have
Absolutely.
to get monitored because if it keeps bleeding,
Yeah.
my head will expand. They got to put a hole in my head and
Right.
take out a piece of my skull.
Yeah.
So,
What happens?
but I'm so fucked up in the head at the time. Like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Everything's cool and dandy.
Okay.
But it was pretty serious, and that's when my whole world got flipped upside down, and things got different. but it was really weird. I told you this was 2010.
Yeah.
I went from not being able to feed myself to in 2011 I got that X Games second place.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So like if you watch the X Games version of the thing, like Chris Miller's the announcer and he's saying like Adam just got back finally from he had a really bad head injury and I got second that year. The best year of my contest, and I did a bunch of contests, was after I had that head injury.
Oh my God.
Which is crazy looking back.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Were you more focused because you didn't want to get injured?
I think I was I got into it, but I was struggling really bad with mental health, and I think I was like trying to avoid it so much, skating even harder.
Yeah.
Nothing new. Try to avoid something.
Yeah, right.
Skate harder.
Yeah.
Gives you greater focus, though.
So I wasn't doing very well mentally, but I was skating the best. And then I made a shit ton of money that year. And then I was practicing for one of my favorite contests to do. Out of all the contests I do, the Ultimate Border.
Which
Heard
one?
of that? The Ultimate Border.
Ultimate Border.
Do you remember that? Did it twice or did it 3 times? Ultimate Border. It was a surf, skate.
Yeah.
Right down here.
Okay, yeah.
It was right. And they had the surf in Oceanside.
Right.
I remember
They
that.
had there's the second year I did it, or no, I think it was the first year. It was 3 times they only did it. They couldn't get the funding, but the dude was super rad.
Yeah.
You had to compete
You had to compete in all 3 and you
Right.
got points.
Disciplines.
So I did the year before that I did do it, and they had a mini ramp. It was a mini ramp with like an extension with like a tiny bit of vert. I think it's like 8 foot.
Yeah.
It was like a 5 foot mini bowled in one side.
Oh,
That
nice.
was what the skating was on, so it had to be something kind of everybody could skate. And then the surf that year was at Seaside in Cardiff.
Okay.
The vert ramp was in the parking lot
Okay.
because they had the space for it. And then the snowboarding that year was
Big Bear?
Big Bear.
no, let's see,
The Big Bear?
Mammoth.
Oh,
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then this was a weekend. But also the event was pretty cool because they only allowed 40 people in it. And
Okay.
you had to be handpicked. And because I can surf pretty well,
Yeah.
and I can snowboard pretty well, and I can skate pretty well, I guess.
Yeah.
So
No,
like you
can.
had to be the like requirements where like you had to be pro at one of them at least, and then good at the other ones.
Right.
So it was only 40 people out of
Right.
a lot of people wanted to do it.
Well, they kept all the snowboarders were in it, surfer guys were
Yeah,
in
they
it.
had
Like
pro
they let everybody in it. Yeah.
we've
Absolutely.
we've all done everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's super rad. So that year, I not my snowboarding is my weak point. I'm Florida, like come on.
Yeah. Right.
But I can still ride pretty. I can still do the jumps and
Right.
spin and do the switch stuff or whatever, and do little rails. And the year before that, I didn't train snowboarding very well, but I still got 7th in the contest. I actually brought that medal. It's one of my
7 in
favorites.
the overall
I
contest?
got 7th
Okay.
in the surf, skate, snowboard contest. Aaron Esturga, I think, won that year.
Wow.
No, Chad Shetler won that year.
Okay.
He's the-
Second.
Aaron
Yeah.
got 2nd. Aaron won the first year.
Right.
Okay.
Chad won the 2nd year. So like that year came around, and this was coming up, and I was like, I want to win that. Like I got 7th with no snowboard training. I wouldn't like snowboard like the day before.
Yeah.
I mean, I snowboard, but like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna practice. Whatever.
Right.
I probably had a busy schedule at the time too. So I was like, I want to win this year. I half-assed it snowboarding. My surfing, I half-assed it the surfing, and still made the finals. And skating, that was.
Well, you had Kelly Slater teaching you, right?
I wish.
You had to surf a double A.
Yeah.
Surf.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, double is good, and Chad Shetler's pretty good at all.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So those guys were like the top dogs, and I was like, I really want to win this. So it's good payout. It's like 40 G's for first. So
Yeah.
I got like 7th. I made like a good amount of money
Yeah.
that one year. So I was training. I really wanted to win. So I freaking got a bear pass with a season pass. I was staying up there all the winter time, getting ready for it. I was in the contest. I was practicing so much. I was riding the big jumps. I was actually getting, I wasn't good, but like I was getting better to the point to where like I knew the course was going to be small. So I was working on the big shits, the small shits.
Yeah.
And I was just riding bear and riding the big jumps. And I went and I did one of the big jumps and I overshot it and caught my heel edge. Bam! Hit my head really hard. This is bare, so
But you weren't.
snow isn't really that great.
There isn't much snow.
It's mostly ice.
Yeah.
So I basically hit into concrete. And
Did you have a helmet?
I had a helmet.
You did?
Double tap?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They probably did.
I don't remember.
I was out. I rode the little sled down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So you had the
Yeah.
full stiff arm and just
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't right there with anybody. I was just, I just went up there. I wasn't like with the group or with a
So
friend.
somebody just rolled up on you unconscious.
Yeah, probably. You can see the jump from the lifts.
Okay.
So someone probably saw me knock myself out there. So that was really bad. And like I went to the doctor and for the hospital there. I remember it was New Year's Day, the Big Bear Hospital.
Wow.
I was in the hallway for a long time. A horrible experience. I can still
Like
remember.
a Twilight Zone experience.
And I'm all fucked up. I have a super bad head injury, but like it looks like everything's fine because my arm isn't falling off my body. So whatever, I come off that, get back, do that, heal from that. Not really heal, but like whole incident's done. Shit starts going sideways. Like looking back, I hit my head that first time.
Yeah.
I had a bleed in my frontal, but then I hit my head again like about a year later, just as bad.
Yeah.
And those two, like, really messed me up mentally, like my mental health. And I didn't know because I would.
Yeah. Nobody talked about it back then. Just get over it.
And you didn't. I didn't.
Just get over it.
And I didn't know something was wrong.
Yeah.
I was also my head injury. I was super out of it. I didn't know I had a problem. I was just living life, and it spiraled like, self-medicating, drugs, alcohol, but like not partying.
Just killing the numbers.
Killing them because I didn't even know. I thought this is what it's like. This is what it's like. And I've had, I lived with a person at a time, a woman at a time, and like broke up, and I moved out, and I had to live with Vinton while I couldn't. He also took me in.
Yeah.
He's been like the big brother to you.
Yeah, he's like my second dad. And he took me in because I couldn't handle myself. Like I couldn't live like I needed to be monitored.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying
somebody's got to keep an eye on you. That's all.
Jumbled and...
The bigger problem is you don't know I have a problem. You don't know you have a problem, and then shit hits the fan, and you're out of control, and you're super mentally ill.
So how did you come to terms and go, I need to fix myself? What was that moment?
There was a moment.
There hadn't been a moment.
There was a moment, and I realized that you got a problem. You're mentally ill. It's not just I'm not like taking drugs. I'm like actually having problems. I am taking drugs, but I had to go into self-medicating, but I didn't know I had a problem. That was the problem. The problem was I didn't know I had a problem. And then I started getting help, resources with, medical help, and realizing I have a problem, seeing the right doctors, realizing it's not your fault.
Yeah, of course.
And then you start helping yourself. It's like a turning point to where like it sucks. You realize you're mentally, but then you're like, oh, I can find a solution. This was in 2012, and it's still
head injuries at that time were still not what we know today.
Yeah,
The NFL has done a lot to help.
Yeah, those poor guys. But and then I was just trying to take care of myself, and I was living off the money I had.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, and then once I feel like I got my shit back together, get on the right medications, make sure you're going to the right therapy,
Right.
Do this. I try to go back into the scene. This is probably like 13, 14. And I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I can't keep up. I lost about a year and a half. And in those days, losing a year and a half
huge.
of practicing can really set you behind.
Yeah.
And like I just can't mentally handle this. Being a pro skater, and the money's running out, and the sponsors drop me because I'm not doing my obligation side of the thing.
Right.
So the sponsor got, and I'm just like living, off my thing and not working because I'm like, I'll be able to come back. It's like I can still come back. I can still come back. And then you realize you can't still come back, and then you run out of money, and you're just still struggling with mental health for a long time. And it's still every day I struggle with it. It's pretty, people are pretty open.
At least you acknowledge it. A lot of people that have mental health problems don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's kind of becoming a thing now. It's becoming a thing to it being okay, especially for men, to be like, I'm not doing good today.
Right.
You know, things are hard. It's, you know, Mitchie Brusco is really tackling that stigma, because he's really struggled with it for a while. I mean, it never goes away.
He just did an interview on
You should have
Tony
him on here.
Yeah, I'd love to. So hook me up.
He does them too.
Yeah.
He's really advocate. I saw him today.
Yeah.
When I went to the Reese's video premiere for Welcome to Birdhouse, and he had a shirt on that said, "You're bad for my mental health." And I was like, right on, man. We should all be wearing that shirt. Because everyone's got someone that's messing with their mental health. And I was like, that basically explains that we're getting and going kind of in the right direction, especially with athletes. Because
I think with that, the stress of being
it is and it's like I say this, and it's true. Like, you don't get really good at something, any kind of sport, because you're normal.
Yeah.
There's something has to be. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, you do get different results, but also it's the thing a crazy person would do is, especially with skaters, so you're not going to go blow out your knee 10 times in a row and go to try again. If not, something's going on upstairs.
Yeah.
So if something goes sideways, it can really go sideways for an athlete, a professional.
Well, I mean, look at our gymnasts last year for the Olympics. Right? Wasn't it the Olympics? The little black girl.
Yeah, the Olympics.
I can't remember.
She just pulled out.
But yeah, man, she pulled out of everything till the very end because of I think the stress, the
That's some
pressures,
serious stress. I can't even fathom.
Well,
so
I just
the stress on the other contests.
Yeah, no, my mind has been so shaped to that being the norm.
Yeah.
Now it's not. I could not handle that shit. So that's kind of like where it went down and tanking, and then I got my first. I was trying to figure out like what I'm doing. About to run out of money. I was renting a room.
Yeah.
But not being super healthy with drugs and alcohol. And then I was like, I gotta get a real job somehow. So I took a call center job that I found on Craigslist. This was my first job ever.
Sandy Bob, how can I help you?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I never had had any kind of real job.
You were a professional skateboarder.
Like, I didn't understand it at all. I'm honestly what I see in fucking movies.
Yeah.
And I got a call center job. It takes no skill. It was for car dealerships. It wasn't selling stuff.
Yeah.
Never. That's ridiculous. Just scheduling appointments for car service centers. But man, dude, it was like minimum wage job, and I was like an eye-opening experience. I only worked there for 6 months, but
that's 6 months. That's a lot.
I was like, wow, this is the work for. It's like working at a desk. Like, it doesn't suck, but like, I feel like it's like it was like just I felt like it was like I'm really into growing. Like, you learn a new trick, I felt like it was like, how do you go anywhere from here? Like,
you don't.
What do you do? Like, you don't go. You just do the same thing over and over again. And I'm all about like, like learn a new trick, put those tricks together. It's just like this. So, and then a big change that turned my life around. Well, I remember the moment because I was skating at the DC ramp when it was over the last place it was.
Yeah.
And I get a call from Vinton. He calls me and he says, "You want a job?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Doing what?" And he was like, "I need someone to do some sales, sales stuff, manage accounts, get accounts."
Yeah.
And I threw me out there. Yeah. So Vinton called me when I was skating at DC ramp one day, and he was like, "Dude, you want a job? I need someone to manage some sales accounts." Never had someone work for sales for 187. I was the first salesperson at 187.
Wow.
Were you really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow, that's really
Everything was just like kind of like he had his like people that does, lady that handled all like, the books and computer stuff, and because it's not stuff Vinton does, and making it happen. So it was like crazy because then I became a team manager. It was never a team manager. It was just Vinton doing his thing.
I know.
And he had a small office with a small warehouse, like a warehouse no bigger than this place.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And he asked me if I wanted a job, and I quit my other job, as fast as I could, and then never went home and not coming in. And then I became the first salesperson, and I still do some sales, account management, and I'm the team manager, and I do the social media. 187 and AAA.
So how many team guys are you dealing with between all those companies?
Yeah, so
and
also
all the different, are you guys doing BMX? Are you guys doing
AAA does a little bit.
Okay, and skiing? You guys, no
We do make
snowboarding.
we make a snow helmet. We don't really have any snowboarders, but we make a snow helmet. But yeah, so I started working for Vinton, and then his company started exploding and like crazy, growing big, and like we had to change buildings and all that stuff, and all of a sudden me going from first salesman to him having sales managers, and all these accounts and all these moving parts and containers, and then I learned so much from that, and it was crazy. I went from like I said, like the garage to now he sold it to AAA, and now he's an employee that just does product development, which is all he's ever wanted to do.
Anyway.
He doesn't. He that's one thing he hates is business.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do tax. Look at all the taxes. He doesn't want to process orders, invoice, move money around, pay these vendors, pack boxes.
Right.
Like, because he did it all.
Have to deal with incoming
And he just wants to invent new product.
Right.
And mostly better our current product. That's what, because the product's already made, but you can always better something.
Right.
Not happy with it always.
Yeah.
Always can be better.
Yeah.
So I went from that, and then we grew so much, and then he sold it to 888, and now I work for 888, which is also the company I skated for.
Yeah.
And 187, and now I manage the team for 888 and 187. And you asked me about how many riders, and I did the math the other day.
Yeah.
I realized between 187 and 888 worldwide, we flow, sponsor, pro, whatever, 240 skateboarders.
Wow. Just skateboarders.
Just skateboarders.
248.
Yeah.
That doesn't count any other like BMX. Are you guys doing any BMX guys?
888 does some BMX. Okay. But I don't really handle.
Okay.
We have another dude at 888 that kind of handles more. He helps me with the team stuff, but he handles like the BMX side of things.
Okay.
I don't really know much about it. And I didn't even realize that. And then I looked at that and I'm like, holy shit, dude. 240 skaters. And I manage 100 skateboarders, over 100 wholesale accounts.
Wow.
And do social media. I got a whole team of people that help.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of like, it's.
You delegate.
I delegate.
Yeah, you got to tell people what's up.
And they help, my marketing team helps me a lot. And I help them too. And then someone's got to go to the events, and I go to all events. And just take care of a lot of skaters.
So you're still traveling a lot.
I don't say I travel a lot because nobody has been.
Right. There hasn't been a lot of events lately, but in the summertime.
They're coming back. So we don't go to events like we used to, but yeah, we do when we sponsor events or just going to like X Games, do tour and stuff, I go.
Okay.
So that's pretty, it's a pretty cool aspect to work for both brands. And I love team managing.
Yeah.
I love being on the other end of the spectrum. I was sponsored by these companies and was, that was our dynamic. Sponsor, I get products, we post, we do marketing stuff, and now I'm the one giving the product.
Yeah.
And helping people make sure they have the best pads. Make sure they stay safe.
Yeah,
like if your pads are busted and your caps are gone through from knee sliding so much, that's a safety issue. I want to fix that. You need products, or I'll send you 10 caps. Yeah. Make sure you have new caps on your pegs. Make sure you have new pads.
Because I need new pads.
This guy needs new pads.
I do too, but I talked to Vinny about it because Vinny makes
Oh, I know. He makes. He
got
takes
that big old knee brace.
Oh, the CTI, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, the head injuries though weren't just. I mean, I'm not saying they weren't. They were very serious, but I mean, like, you had more injuries.
And then
really,
those are the one-hand injuries I mentioned because those are life-altering. Not that the other injuries were, but those ones, like, it was like one of those things where like things weren't the same the next day.
Yeah.
But the things that really messed me up afterwards are my shoulder problems. I dislocated my shoulder a long time ago, and since then it hasn't been the same. And I've probably dislocated this shoulder probably like 25 times. It was
Did you ever get surgery?
I've had 3 surgeries.
Wow.
3 surgeries on this, like serious ones with like fake bone and all this stuff.
Okay, because once you knock it out, it's easier the next time. Easier
It went
the
to the
next
point
time.
where I could
easier.
be like when I realized it was time to get surgery is when I could be like,
Oh, that's where I am with
Wow.
my I get that.
Yeah, man.
so
That's,
that kind of nailed, and like my arm doesn't work very well now.
just wait till you're 60.
Come on, dude, I'm already
That's why we get the
Oh,
So yeah, the shoulder things are really bad. That affects me every day because I've got to pick shit up.
yeah.
And then so I've been in and out of skating since then, just because I started skating again. I had a shoulder surgery. I started skating again. I had shoulder surgery, and it's like skate for a year, off a year, skate for a year, off a year. And most recently, I've been skating for about a little over a year, from taking almost 2 years off because I shattered my scapula on my other shoulder, which is one of the most
Painful.
One
I
of the
did
most,
that too.
one of the most painful injuries I've ever had. I've had so many injuries, so many broken things, but the shattering the scapula, my last injury, I told myself I'd never skate again. I remember laying in bed thinking I was going to die.
They can't do anything for you.
And telling my mom, I don't think I'm ever going to skate again. And it sucks. Because I've been on and off for so long, because all the times I'm like, I'll get back to it. I can't wait to get back to it. And then that time I was like, I don't think I can do it anymore, man.
So
It's not worth it.
That's so insane.
Once you get over a certain age, the body takes a lot longer to heal.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it like competitively either this whole time.
Right.
How old were you when you did that? When you shattered it?
Oh, that wasn't that long ago. It was like 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Because
Shit, are you serious?
the thing about it is
Wow.
our bones get so much more brittle as we get older.
Dude,
why do you think all these guys now have broken femurs? Tony and Stab and well, Cab. I mean,
Kevin.
Stop.
Yeah, Kevin.
Hey, man. Well, Pineapple did it too. So I mean, and it's just because hey, everybody's getting older and your bones are getting more brittle. I don't care. I talked to a guy who just straight up was like, yeah, sure, it happens all the time. You're getting old. Your bones are gonna snap.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So anyway, I guess it's you're skateboarding, you're having a good time, but you're gonna get those injuries happen, man.
It's the big part of me. Big problem I've had with when I was coming, I want to skate again. Oh no, I don't want to skate. I'm off a year. I'm on a year. I'm off a year. Is my expectations for myself. When you come from a level of where I was at, I'm okay with it now, and I think that's kind of why I skate. I'm currently skating for like the last year and a half. Is I set that bar really low, and be happy with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Just happy to roll.
I realized when I go skate to skate another day.
Yeah.
Like I mentally.
So you turned down that competition.
I turned down. I had to turn it off, and it took until I was okay with it until when I shattered this. This was a freak accident, which I ate shit really hard on that skater cross course, which I really enjoy skating. But after that one I was okay, but after it now, and I'm skating, and I have to be like really content with cruising.
Welcome to our club.
Yeah.
And it always reminds me, because that's what, like when I used to skate with Onita a lot, like when I was on and off of skating, and he would always do the same shit every time.
Yeah.
And I was always like, oh, that's so boring, dude. You just do the same shit every session. And I'm just like, and I'm over here like trying to do kickflip fakies and trying to do all the shit I used to do. And now I'm skating and I don't skate with Owen very much. I don't even know the last time I skated with Owen, but doesn't really skate much. But now I'm like, he's like 50 something. And now I'm like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 55?
Yeah, and now I'm 30. I'm 33, and I guess maybe I got to jumpstart other people. But I'm like, okay, now I know why he does the. Yeah. He's content with doing the front side area. He's always on the back side. Always on the invert. He's done. I got to be happy with doing my front side area and my tail grab. Now I don't got to fucking flip into it. I should be happy with that, and I am happy with that. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just me getting old, but it's one of those things where like. I'm really content with my skating, but it still clicks in my head when I go skate. Sometimes when I go skate with Jimmy Wilkins and Alex Perelson.
That's really hard to do.
When I go skate with those dudes, and because I have been all my life, and those guys are still going for it, I still I have it in my head where it's like, man, I really wish I could pull a 5 right now. And like and those guys are like, come on, you could totally do a 5, and like. I'm like, good, but then I'd probably bust my ass and not be able to skate for another year.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. But when I do consciously go skate, I prefer skating with the old dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like guys like your age, I prefer go skating with you guys because that thing doesn't go off in my head. But I love skating with the boys.
Yeah.
Like as if it was just another day. But I do enjoy being able to
That's the
skate.
both worlds, man.
I'm not gonna...
But it has to be the right day. Like I'll go skate Hawks, and I'll be with Mitchie and Alex and Jimmy and Rob Lorfus and Bucky because somehow he's still doing it magically. And I'll be like so stoked to skate with them. But then Sundays I'm like, I can't watch these dudes skate their entire run switch. I'm gonna go to Claremont and rob some of the guys who are just they're also just happy to skate another day.
Yeah.
So I balance it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Oh, that's good, man.
I'm happy with it, and I'm really busy with doing 187 Triple Eights. I think it's busier than ever.
Yeah.
And we're doing big things, and I'm super stoked to be part of it, and super stoked to be here and talk about it.
Rad. Yeah, that's rad. Okay, well, we're about 220, 230 into this right now.
211.
So, okay, well, that's not too bad then. I'm going to skip a little bit, and I'd like to hear your opinion on the women that are skating now.
Oh man.
And you know, what are you seeing? What, you know, like, I know you sponsor probably half the girls out there.
More than that, man. We seriously have like 90% of the field.
Yeah.
Between the two brands, maybe more than 90%.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Absolutely. Because the other company's ready to go out of business.
When you make the best, when you make the best product, it sells itself.
And you got the best people.
And you got real people, and you got skaters, I'm making sure these skaters, like, you know, you got a new pair of knee pads, you don't got someone else's knee pads because you didn't, you know, yours ran out. Like, have a pair before you run out.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay.
So the girls are, dude, they're some of the most fun to skate with.
Yeah.
They're so good, dude.
Last exposure, they were so good.
I know maybe this is kind of lame to say, but dude, I couldn't win this contest anymore. Like, you know what? Like, I don't, you know what it is, but like, I would lose. I know pro skaters that might lose a contest in this bowl against these girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so good, and they look, and they're all so good, and it's crazy how young they are. It's like even compared to the guys, the young girls are better than the young guys.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that I noticed watching the girls the last couple of years is that they're so happy for the girl that just did the run.
I know.
Yeah.
They go up and
different attitudes.
Smile. The guys are like,
you guys are like, all right, or like, next run I'll make it. And these girls are just like having fun. It's so much fun to watch too. It's like just more chill.
Yeah.
And
they got a picture with Bryce.
I know she got her pro board. Yeah. Bryce awesome. I know known her since she was a real little skater at the YMCA, and she's really I really like her style, like not just her clothing style, but her skate style is a lot different than the other girls.
Yeah.
And it really stands out.
She has fun.
She has fun. She's having a lot of fun for sure.
That's the difference I've seen with her versus the other girls. She has fun that creates her style and play.
Yeah.
The other girls are still working on their style. So we love Bryce.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta ask. You got a lot of tattoos here, man. Anything significant from like winning the X Games or something like that?
I mean, some of it has like significant, you know, meaning. Some honestly, I just got because it look cool. I mean, I realized like when I was getting tattoos, I was like, it's got to mean something. Like this means this means that. Like really like this artist. But when you get to a point where you have this much, you ask anyone who has this many tattoos, I could get the worst tattoo in the world and you wouldn't notice. I know. And I don't really like. It doesn't really. I mean, like I mean, I guess some of them mean a lot. Like this alligator is really cool because the artist did it. It was really rad, and a lot of this stuff is just it all something I like. Yeah. Something usually on me is something I like. Might not love it. Yeah. But like all my favorite bands, I have tattooed. All the other favorite things, skating. Of course, I don't have that many skate tattoos. It's like one of those things where it's like you're so into it.
No
Skating.
187s.
No 187. I'm not
no.
branded. But
That's coming next or what?
Yeah. I wish I could have got him branded.
I know, right? No, he doesn't care. Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of music, video games, and
I saw your controller on your fingers there.
yeah. There's that, and I got a half pipe here. But this one's kind of cool because it's skateboards, surfboards, snowboard passion. That's like one of the ones that kind of
okay.
really.
So there is something there.
There is something there. Yeah,
cool.
And I got other stuff I just get because it looks cool.
Okay, so we all pretty much. Oh well, yeah.
Oh yeah, my family.
Yeah, let's talk. What's going on with your family?
Well, me and my wife, we've been together for a little over maybe 10 years, but only married a year and a half.
Okay.
Wow.
So did you meet her here, or was that in Florida?
No, we met her. She's a native to San Diego.
Okay.
She's amazing, and she's very talented. She started it. I say we because I would sound cool. I have a business, but she's in the wedding business.
Oh, okay.
She's a florist.
Okay, awesome.
She has her floral business, and I go to weddings every weekend almost. And she makes all the flowers for brides.
You help set up the flowers.
I help set up. I do all the grunt work.
Okay.
Which is fine because she's like an artist. People pay her like a lot of money to do her florals.
Absolutely, it's got to be perfect, man.
Trust me, dude, it's got to be perfect. It's crazy, but it's our business and it's awesome. And we've learned a lot. Yeah. And I've learned a lot of building things because I build a lot of things for the weddings.
Yeah. Let me ask, did she do this before you guys got married?
No, we've been doing it for about 6 years, 5 years.
So did it inspire you to just finally say, we've been together 8 years, time to tie the knot?
I think maybe it's just different nowadays, but a piece of paper doesn't mean we love each other. Right. We don't need that. We're getting older now, so we get married. It's cool. But yeah, for us, it was kind of that level.
So kids in the future?
I mean, she's talking about it. We're talking. It's gonna happen. We're trying to run a business, man. That's 24/7 thing. I'm going straight from here to go to work.
There you go. Wow.
I go from 187, and then I go straight to our office in San Marcos. It's pretty rad. To be able nowadays, it's just like it's so rad to be able to work.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people don't even get that opportunity.
They don't want to.
Or they don't want to, or the opportunity isn't there, or they're stuck. Doing the same thing over and over again. So it's like sometimes when I'm working really hard and working these crazy hours, pulling like 20-hour days on the weekends, she has to remind me, and I have to remind myself that I could not be working right now.
Yeah.
And working at a desk or something. I do work at a desk though. My computer is. I do have to sit on my computer a few hours every day.
I've seen you work. You get shit done. That's all. That's all that matters, man. All right. Well, what do you think? As far as anybody that you want to thank for?
Yeah, I definitely want to thank
for a career of skateboarding.
I want to thank my parents, of course. Yeah. They got me from where I start. I wouldn't have been here without them. They were there all the way up until I was an adult.
Right.
They really went in 100% on giving me my opportunity. Me and my brother and sister, we were all right there. They kind of went a different direction and weren't really into the skating once they got into an adult age.
Yeah.
But they gave me an opportunity. I want to thank my mom and my dad. They're awesome. And then I want to thank, my wife, of course. She's still super supportive of my skating. She always keeps me in check also to make sure I'm not pushing myself.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to see me get hurt.
That's right.
So that's good.
She needs you.
She has to be with the bag and
she has to deal with me, and then who's gonna work, right?
Wait till the kids come.
Yeah, so it's pretty rad. And then Buster was a big person early into my career that believed in me, and also got me really good sponsors, and just make sure I didn't act a fool.
Yeah, good. Tony Mag, Tony Hawk. And all the skaters that pushed you?
Yeah. I mean, the Buster is really what pushed me.
Yeah, that's right.
I could call him. We don't talk very often. It's because we don't. I mean, I wouldn't not talk to him. He's a very busy man with his biodiesel business. Yeah. Right here in this area. So.
He's done killer.
Yeah. So it's one of those people don't need to talk to all the time
Oh yeah.
to be able to connect.
Yeah.
It's like where you pick
absolutely.
up the conversation that you had 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's not like you forget about them or like, it's like when you see a family member you haven't seen in forever, and you're just, it's like you didn't miss a day.
Yeah.
And I always like to see him. I don't get to see him very often, but he was really helpful.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
Anything? Yeah.
Trying to think.
Vin?
I'm thinking, well, Vin, obviously, he gave me, Vin, yeah, I should have said him. What am I doing?
She's watching right now.
Look right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Sorry, Vin, I should have. You're in my life every day. It's really amazing that he's in my life like almost every day. He's also someone, him and Sarah, his wife, I could call and have called when I was in very critical situations that have, without question,
Been there. Yeah.
I've called them.
So I
looking,
like
looking back, I realized I've asked them to do shit that like someone would have been like, no.
No, I'm not paying your taxes.
No, I'm not coming to pick you up, man. You're stuck. Good luck. And then he also gave me an opportunity to an employment opportunity that went from working from out of a garage-ish business,
Yeah.
like a small room like this, to now we're part of this big
Yeah.
forward that
Makes the corporate company.
I wouldn't say it's corporate. It's still a single person, and it's still left up to the skaters on what we.
Where you guys are, yes, but I know where 888 is, and they're corporate. They're corporate.
Yeah,
they have to be.
Yeah,
you know, they have to.
So
be.
there's also the good thing,
So-
though. They're corporate, but they also make the money for us to be able to do fun stuff.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't do the fun shit without making. I realized that now when I got older. I'm like, well, why don't we just mess around? But like, you can't have fun without. You can't have as much fun without having the backing and to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And they give a lot of opportunity that we wouldn't have normally done. To not just to us, but like to be able to pay skateboarders.
Yeah.
That's what my favorite thing to do is I want to get people paid. Like I know what it's like. You got to always justify it, but like that opportunity wouldn't be there without, kind of a bigger AAA to bigger
I
company.
think that's what makes a great team manager is that he's gone through everything.
Yeah.
And now he's on the other side going, I know what it's like. I know what you're going through. So
Yeah, I know what you're going. I know why you're asking. Like I know why. I know how it feels. I know like you don't have to ask. Like it's one of those things where I don't want you to have to ask. I want to be able to give it to you.
sound like you're an amazing team manager.
I try my best. I try to really just go to like being on their level. I think makes the skaters level. And there's a lot of young kids now. Like I said, there's those young kids that watch me before they skate, and now I'm the old team manager guy. But like coming from a skate background is I'm not just some guy that got hired to manage a team. Like I kind of grew into the position.
You were about
absolutely.
the same age that he is now when you started team managing.
Yep. Yeah. I was actually 2 years older. I was 35.
Oh wow!
So
Wow, that's amazing.
but that was for 1 month.
That was for 1 month.
1 month.
I'm on the beginning of this year. It'll be 7 years at 187, and I think five with AAA.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good for you, kid.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. 7 years going from the first salesperson
Yeah.
to now we have
Team.
14.
Huge.
salespeople.
Yeah.
No, not sales. We don't have that.
Well, you're talking about in-house guys.
I'm talking about in-house. We have a few in-house, but like, there's all the reps.
Yeah.
Reps that are regional areas. So there's a bunch of there's a whole squad.
Couple squads.
A couple
I'll
squad.
bet. I mean, you got to have one for each division, basically.
Oh, for each division. I'm just talking about like in-house skate shops.
Yeah. Skate shops, exactly.
Just talking about skate shops.
Well, you know what? Soon you're going to think about the whole bigger picture, even.
Yeah, I mean, with me and wife's business, I'm now like, I go to Vinton and his wife. I talk to them because they manage a small business out of their garage. We started in our garage. And now we have a big warehouse.
Yeah.
And employees and shit. Like it's crazy. Now I'm like, Vinton sits back and he's like, there you go. That's how you should do it.
Yeah.
He's like, he tells me, he's like, in our world, if you want to make it, you have to you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's it.
Like you can't rely, like totally fortunate of having a real employment job, but he's told me like, if you really want to make it, you got to do your own thing. You have to be the boss, but it's not easy.
Yeah. Oh man, he struggled. Both of him and Sarah struggled big time until they even came out here. I mean, I know it was a struggle.
It was
So,
just complete,
you know, but they pulled it off. They did it.
Yeah.
It was just hard work and that.
it's
you
the
know,
product.
Well, yeah, but it all
No, I
comes
mean,
from
like,
hard work. You know,
it's
like,
hard work, but
a lot of hours.
Quality product.
Yeah.
the thing he
yeah.
made is what made the things he made, and then everyone else is just trying to make his stuff.
Yeah.
It's a problem,
Yep.
actually.
Exactly. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you for
Yes,
coming, man.
dude.
It was awesome.
This
You
is
know?
really awesome. I haven't done one of
So,
these in a bit, and
yeah.
I really appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm trying to hit everybody, man. I want to hear the stories, man. I love, it all came from that time I walked into your office looking for Vinton.
Looking
You
for
know, I did. And,
That's kind of how it is now. Where's Vin?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God, I'm in Kentucky now.
So, are you guys still in Vista then, right? Or have you guys
We're in
moved out of that?
Carlsbad.
Oh, in
We're not in that
Carlsbad.
spot you went to.
Okay, all right.
We're by,
Oh, I know where you're at. Never mind.
we're by the airport.
Yeah,
You're over
across the street by
K1.
K1 cars. and
We're
stuff.
right by K1.
Yeah, yeah.
Right where we
So,
transferred.
Right
Anyway,
as you come up to K1, aren't you on the
No, it's a little bit farther from K1, but that's the read.
It's in that
It's
area.
in the business part.
yeah, it's in that area. Okay. Well, anyway,
Come
hey,
by whenever you
all right.
need something.
I
Just
will.
come by and say hi.
I will.
Vin would love to see you.
I'll come by and say hi.
We plan to
Hell,
do a
we should
product,
get-
not a product, but a business
Yeah.
review on 187.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Come over there. We'll get him to walk us through the whole thing, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about it and show us the product, the whole bit.
Yeah, get it straight from the
So,
source because
Exactly.
Then we can walk into your office and terrorize you.
Yeah.
I know my office got bigger, man. My office is like this big.
Woo.
Like it's a corner office, man.
No, with windows.
It's got a window.
Wow, and it took you 7 years to get the window.
Hey, man, Vin doesn't even have an office anymore. He just has the big work table.
That's it.
With his sewing machine.
With
That's-
his sewing machine, that's
but
all the table he wants.
that's all he
He
wants.
doesn't want a desk.
That's right.
He's as happy as a,
Yeah.
as a clam.
Yeah,
with
he is. He's totally happy with that.
Anyway. All right. Well, thank you
that.
again,
Wait,
man.
you
Awesome.
got
Oh,
something to do.
I have to do this too.
So we're-
Okay, if you guys stood and watched this whole show, I just want to say, please, if you enjoyed the show, subscribe and just hit the like button and let us know. You can leave a comment. We read them all. So anyway, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and have a great evening.
Right on.